but like, yeah, just like it's still like we're all freaking out that stuff's being imported here. And I've had like, yeah, as soon as Trump elected, I had friends asked to marry me from overseas or in America. And I
Mm.
was like, I don't know, like I'm on like several disability thingies. So I don't know if I can do that. So, but yeah, it's just like it's been that's just been the political background, and then how that affects people in everyday life has just been it's just been
I
rough. Like,
I gotta say before we even talk about Kayo Dot that my partner will beat my ass if I don't say it, but my partner is a therapist with pretty much all just like trans kids and
yeah,
teenagers and people with like CPTSD and
yeah.
people. I live in the southeastern US, and people over
Mm,
here in our my small town, they love your music. They
yeah,
love your music.
that's very
People love
flattered.
you both. I mean, for better or for worse, they relate to your music. The
uh,
pain of that music. But yeah. Uh, dude, people love you here.
I have no idea because I have never been to America and probably won't for another 4 years. Like it might happen
Yeah,
if I
thanks
can.
for yeah.
Yeah, like it might happen before. I would like to come. It's just like, do you have any idea how much it costs to get a working visa into America? Um, it's I'm using Australian currency, but if you need to fast track, it can be up to 4 to 5 thousand Australian, which is about 2 to 3 thousand US. That's to not get it approved. That's to apply. And they often check your things for like, have you said anything about Palestine? Are you in a minority that our government hates? You know, do you have a disability that is makes you scary to people who don't understand and shit like that? And it's just like there's a good chance I just would pay 2.5 grand for and my label as well to go and then have to cancel a tour.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
keep hearing happening to Canadian bands, and it's just like, yeah, so it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, sadly. So I have no idea how many people. I'm always surprised because I'm just like I don't know. I make industrial music, so it's like, like I make screaming sad music, and
I'm
I'm
just
just like,
clicking in
yeah,
Ableton.
yeah. I'm just, yeah. It's. I don't do much. Well, I do way too much, but like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, and I don't
Well,
know. It's surprising enough to see that
instead of
Melbourne.
touring in the US, you can bring the like audience to the Australian outback or something.
I don't live in the outback though. I live in
Oh, back.
Melbourne, which has no outback.
Isn't it all
No,
outback?
no. I live in the city. I'm surrounded by factories. I'm near docks. I live in a place called Footscray, which is a really cool suburb. There's a whole, it's kind of lots of punks here and shows and stuff, and very kind of diverse suburb. But Melbourne is in the very bottom of Australia, next above the little island that's Tasmania, and Melbourne slash Nullum, traditional name for it, is just above that island in Victoria, which is our state. And our weather is strange. It is very, very humid at the moment. It is absurdly humid. Like we've been having 30 degrees Celsius days. No idea what Fahrenheit that is. Like double it. I don't know. No, that would
No,
be,
it's
I don't know.
okay. I'm using
That
sun.
Um,
sounds great.
use Google. Google is your friend. And it's like humid to the point of dripping rain a bit. And so it's like you
Oh,
kind of wet bulbing. And then we'll have a few 40-degree Celsius days, which is about 100 Fahrenheit. And then randomly it drops down to 20 Celsius, which is like the standard nice day temperature. I don't know what that is, but like in Fahrenheit. But like it's up and down. The weather is crazy. We always in Melbourne go like, "Oh yeah, how's the weather today?" And it's like I have no idea. It's just started. It could just rain and then be 40 degrees and then just and that's like most of the year. And then winter it is like England in winter, just grey and raining, but
hmm.
we never get snow. I've seen snow twice in my life.
We just
So
had snow here
like
yesterday.
yeah, I wish I could see it again. We have it in our little mountains in Victoria, but they're like all the way. They're like hours drive away, and
Oh yeah.
I don't have a car. So. But yeah, no, I don't live in the outback. It's pretty green here, and lots of buildings and suburbia and a lot of urban decay.
What
And
about
Footscray,
tarantulas? Do you have
we
to
don't
be
have
careful?
those.
No tarantula?
No, they're not. We don't have. I don't think we have
Oh
tarantulas. We
my.
have huntsmans, redbacks and
Oh,
whitetails.
that's bad
Like
enough.
other
That's so
animals that want to
scary.
kill you.
They're like I grew up with them, so it's
Yeah.
like, redbacks and whitetails. If you go to hospital, you should be fine. But they're small, the tiny little ones. The tiny ones are usually the scary ones. The big huntsmans with the health bars, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like I just pick them up and just go like, "Hey, you're eating my flies, but you have to go." My housemate's scared. You have to go inside. So like, outside. So like, I'm not. We have the Sydney Funway, but that's in Sydney, which is a plane ride away. So. Uh, Now we have the kangaroos. You don't want to get eviscerated by a kangaroo if it's a big Giga
Holy
Chad
cow.
one. But I only have those at my
Just
parents'
punch it
house,
like that
and we
guy,
don't
you
have
know.
those. Yeah, he's the ones who box here, but like they're only we have grey kangaroos in Melbourne, and then all the big ones are like further out. But the kangaroos, they're usually peaceful and just hopping around, and just don't want to hit them with a car because they're big. Um, but they're more further out. They're not in the city or anything. The most thing we get here is possums, which are not opossums, but possums, which are my favorite animal. And a little scritter around and just like, like go into your trash and steal a meal and then just skitter. They're just adorable. And
It'd be
yeah,
so
that's,
funny if
oh,
instead
we
of
have
talking
snakes,
about
but
Kayo Dot, we just talked about our Ubo's favorite animals and scariest animal encounters.
all the animals that scare me are the ones you can't see. Uh, like I'm more like, the ones that are like bacteria and
Oh yeah.
those things that actually kill. Like we have snakes which are poisonous, but like which again further out, you don't get them in the city. They don't. Like, you might get them in a park, but they're scared you are of them. Most in Victoria, most of them are just extremely poisonous, and they will kill you if they repeatedly bite you. But they're also scared of you.
I'm way more
Um,
scared of them.
like, oh no, they is terrified. But like, you can also avoid them. They're usually just sunbaking and just like, yeah, like they're just, I don't know. Like, I'm not really, I don't know. Like, you guys have scary things. You got like rabies. We don't have rabies in Melbourne.
Oh really?
Um, yeah, we don't have it. We
Shit.
eliminated rabies in
Yeah,
the
that's
main
scary though.
continent. Like we don't, like our bats have it, but they don't. Not gonna get bitten by them. They're fruit bats. Um, and yeah, like a lot of the I don't know. You in Europe and America have scary things. Like, I don't know. You got bears? You don't have
Like
bears? Like,
Like I'd be
we don't.
so like nervous going to Australia because everything tries to kill you. Like here in
No,
Canada, like the only thing that tries to kill you is the polar bear, and like well,
that's
this one's scary as shit, but there's none in like where I live. It's way up north, so
that's super substantial. That's more likely
yeah.
to. That is far more deadly than any. What we? Oh no, we have the hyper. We have the super jellyfish. Okay. If you go in the water, then some problem. We got sharks and
Ugh.
jellyfish and stingrays and shit. Like, I don't go in the water too much. I'm a little too pale for the beach. But like, the oh yeah, we got this. I need to figure out how to pronounce it. It's this
Wasn't
jellyfish
it
that actually gives you a
wasn't it
panic attack
a
before it kills
jellyfish
you.
that killed Steve Irwin?
No,
There's
that
a
was a
Stingray.
stingray.
a
Yeah, and
stingray.
they're
Come
peaceful
on,
unless you piss
man.
them off. They don't have the mouth to eat people. They're peaceful fluting things. It's just probably got scared and stabbed him in the heart very specifically.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's just kind of like when you go to the Outback, which I have been to once in my life, maybe twice. There's not any reasons to go there, and I don't really have much money for a holiday, and there's not really much to tour in a lot of those places. Uh, you can get more scary things, but like they're not really. It's your animals are scarier in Europe and America. Like, yeah, you got just as many poison snakes. You got like fucking bears. You got like I don't know animals with like knives on their heads, like deer and shit. Like I've only seen a deer once. I saw one when I was in the Netherlands. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, oh, it's a deer. Like, it's like they're huge.
Whoa.
They could just gore you. Like, kangaroos generally hop around in a massive pack and avoid you unless you get into piss off the alpha
Well, same thing with
kangaroo.
Mm.
here actually.
Yeah. Like, and yeah, in Europe, because that's where I saw the deer. Like, and like, yeah, it's just like, no, that's a myth. Like, it's just like, it's just check your shoes before putting them on if you leave them outside for spiders and you can shake them out and they're not going to kill you unless you're like really, really sick already. And then you just go to hospital, which is free here. So, um,
Hell yeah.
you know, yeah, like, we, which is at least for the time being. Hopefully, we don't have to have any Mario characters, ensure that it remains free. But like, yeah,
Mm.
um, but no, it's that's like no, it's when you come to if you come to Australia, if you ever can afford to get here, because it's we're on the other side of the planet, which is why it's like
It's a long ride.
12 a.m. It's a long ride. It's why the other reason it's difficult to tour from Australia is I get so sick on planes. I want to throw up and pass out by the landing and the turbulence. I just ugh. And it's super expensive. And your body clock hates it. You are
Yeah.
12 hours out of whack.
Yeah.
Um, and which is why I had to say to Rob, I'm not going to be able to play as soon as I drop down. No one has ever done that from us. If they do that, you're going to get. I have to sing and scream at the same. That's not going to happen. And I already
Yeah.
got a cold on the plane. I think I got a cold on the plane. I don't know, but like, it's just rough. And we don't have much to. We have 26 million people here, so we don't can't really tour city to city like America and Europe. Gets more difficult in Europe as the EU breaks apart. But like, and I guess depends if you're in like Iceland, it's probably a similar problem, except you're still in the northern
Well,
hemisphere.
it's
So
very
like,
similar to Canada, Australia. Like it's just the hot
yeah,
Canada,
it's
just like
yes,
a big land with no people.
yep, yep. There's it's kind of like yeah, like except Canadians allegedly, at least until they made visas worse, could just tour America, and they're still close enough to like Europe, right up until the visa stuff started kicking off and getting worse. We've got Southeast Asia, which
Yeah,
is okay. I would actually like to tour there, and we're actually close to Japan, and that's
yeah.
like my dream come true to a Japan. Like I'm trying to organize it after this year's all Australian touring, um, but we don't have as many people to play to, so I'm not, it's why I'm always surprised when people are like, "Wow, you're so popular in Big." I was like, "I'm in fucking Australia. We got like, what do we have nothing here. We got like a stupid accent. We got like fucking animals that people think kill them and only kill you if you're silly. The main thing that's going to kill you here is the sun. If you don't have melanin in your skin, and I have virtually none. It's a colony. We're not meant to be here. Uh, Skin cancer is one of the biggest killers. We have a UV hole there still from the CFCs. You have to wear sun cream. Our sun is a lethal laser of cancer.
The sun is a
And
deadly laser.
yeah, and just like I don't know, like Bogans on meth, they're more dangerous. Like I don't know, because I live in the city at the moment. But like it's just like that's the worry. Just wear sun cream. You have to wear sun cream. Not even just in summer. You have to wear it. I wear it on my face all year round. But it's just like otherwise it is melanoma time, and you also avoid the water unless there's lifesavers there because you will die. Like unless you are very good at swimming. Um, there is
There's
too many
also
jellyfish. Shit.
there's the
Yeah.
danger of, I mean, if you get on a plane, I don't know if you've ever seen Lost, but there's always the potential
Yeah.
to run
Yeah.
into a Lost type
Dimension.
situation.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, if you go to a different, like, we're already on an island with just shit that makes no sense, though. Like, it's like, I don't know what our fucking government's doing. All our houses
Oh yeah, I'd
having
probably just
housing
feel the same.
crisis. Everyone's kind of confusing. You got smoke monsters. They just smoke cigarettes and they just like yell at you for some reason outside of pubs and
Oh, you'd be
stuff.
at
Like, you
home.
gotta go. Yeah, yeah. It's fine. It's fine though. Like I don't hate it here. I've just kind of been here for 34 years. So like, it's just like you only have negative things to say about your actually compared to other places in the world, especially like America, the third world, you know. It's actually pretty privileged to be here, but it's still like we're not getting actively like genocided, for example, just yet. So it's like it's well, at least the First Nation people here are, but so it's not like great in that way. It's still very kind of is a racist country, but it's still like it's still better than overseas, like in many ways. But like there's not much here, so it's kind of why I focus a lot on recording. I also get stage fright, so I like to record more. So, but yeah, let's Australia, yay! Silly. We also
Australia
don't drink
facts.
Fosters. We don't drink Fosters. That
No?
that's that's just an export brand. Yeah, we have VB. I don't drink beer, but it tastes like piss and bread combined. But like,
Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah, VB is this is Foster's rebranded for Australians, and we call it VB, and whereas Foster's that's like The Simpsons, and that just gets exported because of The Simpsons, I think. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
it's yeah.
Well,
No,
you have
it's a
Vegemite.
oh yeah, I love Vegemite. It is so good. It's full of B vitamins, great for energy. It's like it's you just put heaps on your toast and you just get you just if you don't yeah. Yeast. Bread is already yeast. You put more yeast on it and it's
Yeah,
like
I
B
never
vitamin
tried
yeast.
it.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, me
It's
neither.
bitter. It's bitter and a tarry black substance and bitter and tangy. I love it,
Sounds
especially on like
good.
toast. Most people from North Australia don't like it. It's kind of like all those like fermented fish in like far North Europe equivalent, except for us, it's just like this is just yeast. Um, I don't know how it happened. It's pretty good though. Like, yeah, really healthy, extremely healthy for you.
Wow.
Yeah, facts. The facts
So
about this. Yeah.
how did all of that lead to you having like Choir of the Eye as your favorite album of
Hold
all
on, don't start the
All
episode
right.
yet. We're doing intro.
Yeah, okay. All right. So how I discovered all kinds of weird music when I was a teenager. Um and um it was the MySpace era when I was in the 2000s when I was a teenager because I am, in my 30s and like I just recently had gotten like I kind of got into weird music by basically getting magazines, like physical magazines of like Metal Hammer and all that stuff. When I had some spare money at high school. And we'd go to the back, and in the back there would be like all the weird shit. Because
Yeah.
I have so much ADHD, I get bored of things easily, so I get into weirder and more heavier music and angry all the time and sad all the time. So I discovered Pig Destroyer Terrifier, which is one of my other favorite albums, which in about when I was 14, so 2004.
It's a classic.
Um, it's unprecedented, other like for its type of grindcore. Like it's this I think equal best to like Inalienable Dreamless, basically.
Ooh,
Um,
another classic.
yeah, so I was getting into grindcore, and the other thing I got into DIY punk roughly that time because they had all ages shows and lots of screamo bands. Because I got into had I think a girl show me Orchid, some crush
Oh
I had
yeah.
at school, and show me Orchid and made a mixtape, and of all that stuff, and like it's just kind of like whoa, this is so cool, and it's melodic and not doesn't sound like all the metalcore stuff that was shit back then. Metalcore's so much better now. Like it was just shit back then, and I was like, this is sick. And there was like a whole screamer scene back in the 2000s, and a really cool punk scene. Lots of house shows, and in anarchist bookstores. There was a place called Loophole I'd go to often, and just shy at me, not really talk to anyone other than my one friend who I came, all my little friends from high school would come with, go travel 2 hours to go from one side of Melbourne to the other, because there wasn't as much public transport, no Ubers or anything. We didn't have money for taxis, so we had to catch all these late trains and yeah, started seeing all that stuff. Bumped into weird music, like bumped into My Disco, and one of my favorite Australian bands, which is kind of start off minimalist experimental punk noise rock band, and then up
My
kind of like
Disco.
almost yes, I can't emphasize how good they are. And yeah, I saw them play. They had aluminium neck guitars. We sell aluminium. This I don't know why. Which is why I have two now. And like played just
Yeah, there's that.
one of a single note for a song, and it was just so precise and compelling and heavy, and then got into weirder and weirder stuff from there. And yeah, go on. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I think it's Brendan Sloan. He's got an aluminum
Yes.
guitar too, right?
Yeah. No. Yes. He has a 7 string aluminum, aluminum. Yeah. Yeah. Brendan's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually. Yeah. We yeah, been friends for ages since we played together. I played with Convulsing
Awesome.
2018, and I'm friends with his other band Alters, which is also fantastic.
Yeah,
Perdurance is
So
one of the best
good.
records
great
of the
stuff.
year, I think,
So
and
good.
he's such a sweetie. Yeah, I can't vouch Brendan enough, and I bought an amp off him actually recently. I bought acoustic control core 150, which is one of my favorite amp brands. It's a solid state, but it's similar to the Sun solid state amps, but I actually kind of prefer them. They're quite popular down here, in like weird experimental metal and screamer scenes. But yeah, no, yeah, he's got a few. I've got a baritone guitar which I used on Impossible Light and um Origin, and a non-baritone which I've played live, which is tuned to a baritone tuning because the baritone's tuned lower than it's tuned to an eight string tuning basically, so it's tuned to currently F.
Super
I think
baritone.
dropped F. Yeah, and the other one's just standard B standard, which is what an Angels and a few others are in. Um, and yeah, I don't know, I
Sick
love
as
how
fuck.
aluminium sound. They've got that kind of rusty. Sumac uses them as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
uh, they sound great. They do make such a difference to tone. They're just so heavy. They hurt your back. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
touring with the baritone, which is a 30-inch baritone, EGC baritone. I've got it behind here, but I'm wearing earphones. But like, it's just so heavy. It's hollow body as well, so it's like they tried to make it lighter, and it's just I have to work out to actually play with it. Um,
Oh,
Mm.
you've never played
yeah.
bass, right?
Oh no, I have a bass. My girlfriend has a
Basses
aluminium
are super
bass.
heavy.
Yes, she's gonna have to work out too because my partner Violet is also like my bassist, and she was there for Roadburn and just got a new Ellie neck bass. It needs some setting up. It is actually a Fender Squire body with a Bagale neck, and we're just trying to figure out if we can tune it to F. Um, we're gonna find out the fun way if we can tune it to F0. Um,
Like F0,
F0 lower than the A0 on a piano, yeah.
F0X.
Um, yeah, because that's what Endocrine Disruptor is in, as well as Gordian with the Genty part. And if that's played on a synth, but like that's actually not a guitar. The guitars are actually that's a synth of a guitar because we didn't get enough attack from the guitar, so we turned the guitar playing
Yeah.
into it's confusing, but yeah. But like yeah, it's gonna be yeah, we have to do some upper body strength stuff soon, so for that. But yeah, I got into weird stuff. I was in MySpace and then just bumping into things. I was super into post metal, still am. Love post metal. I got into ISIS through a magazine. The Panopticon had just come out. That one became one of my favorite records as well. A Cult of Luna, Somewhere Down the Highway, and Salvation recently come out. Got Rosetta with Wake and Lift, who actually came
Yes.
to Australia. It was sick. I love that record. I love Rosetta. I played with Rosetta in Australia as well.
Awesome.
And just like I think that's and like that with post rock with Godspeed and stuff was super getting into that because I'm just like bored of songs that are just I don't know like structured like a pop song because
Mm.
all the metalcore around me, which was so big at the time, like things like Parkway Drive was all like that. And even if it has no clean singing, it's kind of like I don't know what's it about. Like I'm into philosophy stuff. Like I want to let's talk about Foucault ISIS, right? And then like yeah, I was scrolling through the stuff and I bumped into a lot of stuff on MySpace and I bumped into Kayo Dot and the first song I heard was Don't Touch Dead Animals on from their split with Bloody Panda, which is also one of their best songs. I remember like I was in photography class at school on a desktop computer, not doing photography class because I was like I don't want to I'd like to just do it by myself. I don't want to do a class on it. Don't tell me what to do. So I was browsing music and listening to it on like old headphones and I listened to Don't Touch Dead Animals. I immediately go to my best friend and go, "This is you need to listen to this. This is one of the best things I've ever heard. It's like Disney metal. It sounds like a magical cinematic kind of like whoa, but it's also like horrifying and there's jazz parts and it's modern classical, which I also was starting to get into from my music teacher. And then I finally bumped into Choirs of the Art, and I just had, yeah, tears streaming down my eyes after like the Antique finished. And I was like, I want to make music like this, right? I want to make music that is kind of like has very complicated or strange or open form song structures and instrumentation. Um, like has Jason Byron's incredible poetry as lyrics. Like Toby Driver is like one of the he's so underrated as a vocalist. Like, everything from his falsetto to his black metal screams is just incredible. Like, I think Mia Mitsuno Ilma was in that record doing violin. She wasn't officially in the band yet. That was thinking a Dowsing an Enemy where they had like 8 members. It was like Slipknot, but for art nerds. So like and I love Dowsing an Enemy as well. But yeah, and I just was like, yeah, this is my favorite record. And I decided that when I was like 14, 15, and it hasn't changed. I have other equally favorite records like Downward Spiral, yeah, Terrifier, a few others, but like Sophie's Whale of Pearl. I can't pronounce it, but that one, the good, her last one when she was alive, and yeah, it's just like it's still. I don't know. Kayo don't really do that style anymore. They've moved on to the kind of goth prog thing, and to a much more restricted setup. But they're playing Twice the Eye on the other side of the planet where I can't see it live, which is like so disappointing. I just like can't come to Australia. I know it's expensive. Like Charlie Looky, who's Toby's in his band Extra Life, and like just like, can you both come down? Because
Yeah.
discovered Extra Life roughly the same period of time when I was a teenager, just actually a little later because they were around more like I think my early 20s where I discovered Secular Works, and now I have Charlie on my record. It's like wild, like but I think he also used a baritone guitar, so like but yeah, I just got into that and like just like the kind of complicated cinematic, I don't know, like almost through composed structure. I think Quiet as the Eye, from what I understand, it was Toby Driver said he started it in an argument on a internet forum, on a music forum, saying metal needs to have riffs, and he was like, "No, it doesn't. I'm going to prove you wrong. It does the best metal record of all time, proving him wrong." That's a bit of a flex, like, yeah, and like it's kind of why my music has its own like that, and also like Carnate, so Capture Release and Clean Hands Go Found, two of my other favorite records, which I discovered a little later. Those kind of responsible for me getting to noisier stuff as well as like doing the kind of compositional structures that I do. And also not just in a song, but over an entire record as well. And blending so many styles and everything, because I just get bored if I do the one thing over and over again. So like, but yeah, that's how I bumped into it. It's a bit of a story.
So Choirs of the Eye is kind of an anti metalarchives.com album.
I think is it on Metal
It
Archives?
is.
Yeah,
It
it
is?
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
Like, hang
They've
on, like,
opened up.
let me check. Like, is that like? Yes, yeah, they're Encyclopedia Metallium. They haven't put me on there. They even through they listened to my early like sludge metal Carnate stuff, and they were like, the riffs aren't there, and I was like, there's no riffs on any Kayo Dot song. Like, um, I think it was just like, oh, it doesn't look like a metalhead in brackets
Yeah.
transphobia. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of queer artists who are not on there. Some who are. My friend Amy's on there from her work with Pure Triumphant, but like, um, it, her music fucking rocks. Like, Adult Human Females and her old band and Couch Slot, really good. But like, usually they see kind of like queer themes. Especially the aesthetics, like if you have colors and stuff, they go like, ugh.
No color.
They don't allow gent there either. They only have Meshuggah because of their
Yeah.
early records, which makes gent is metal. Like
Yeah,
it's
I guess
all
y'all
it could be
y'all
good.
did
considered a
this.
riff. I don't know.
It's just a different type of riff playing and
Yeah.
guitar playing. Like I don't get it. Like it's just
And
like
it's super gatekeepy.
yeah, and I think
Rhythmic
that's
gatekeeping. That's
I
kind of
don't
I
crazy.
think
yeah
Riff.
so. They don't do metal core on Metal Archives, and I think
Yeah.
Gent is pretty close to metalcore most of the
Mhm.
time. It's very
Yeah.
rare
not
that
with
Gent is like
Meshuggah.
metal metal. Meshuggah is
Yeah,
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meshuggah is a
The
metal
Gent
band.
Gent is a genre of poorly ripping off Meshuggah, in my opinion, most of the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I like some gent. I really like Loathe. I think because they have the Deftones influence, and like
yeah,
unfortunately, I'm a bisexual woman, and me and
Yeah.
Deftones,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fall for that shit every time. But yeah, I don't like a lot of other gent bands. I'm just like some that I really do. I like Cloud Kicker. When especially he became less genty over time, but I love Cloud Kicker. Um, as well as like I think Uneven Structure, which was like a French band, but
Hmm.
it's the singing style, which is a bit too. When it gets clean singing, I think I like the first Tesseract demos vocalist, and that's about it. Rest of the time, I'm just like I don't like that kind of singing. I kind of
Well, Uneven
I,
Structure has got a bunch of clean singing, right?
It does, but it's the clean singing is actually because it's mixed low. It's not front of the center of the mix, but it's also kind of like a more like I kind of like take more inspiration from like indie style singing, and like ambient style, and I guess it's still in that. He sounds a bit like Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage, which I
Mm.
think is cool. I think that's a cool
Yeah.
kind of much more rich rather than like I'm saying this as a trans woman whiny vocal style.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bit like it's not like a kind of like a lot of I sure a lot of that anti-medical anti-emo rhetoric that came from the 2000s was like very much vouched in like misplaced homophobia, and yeah, a lot of emo kids, include me included, ended up being queer. But like it's also like I don't know, just like that kind of singing. It reminds me more of like butt rock kind of like I don't know, like no, it reminds me more of like kind of like
Fuck yeah.
80s metal, like that's
Mm.
like but not I don't know, like that kind of really shrill falsetto-y stuff, which I'm not usually keen on. Like I'm
Are you a butt rock appreciator? At least on
mm,
the inside? Is there some
I've
secret appreciation for maybe a Three Doors Down or a a Daughtry track?
Nickelback.
Nickelback,
no,
Creed,
no, no,
Creed.
definitely not. No,
What's
no.
the Australian butt rock legend?
Oh, oh fuck. We have I swear we had a whole bunch. Like I don't know, we had
Is it
I've
Finger
forgotten a lot of
11?
them. Yeah, we had like I don't know, we had a bunch of those bands like 28 Days and Grinspoon and stuff like that, which were on our butt rock station Triple M. But it's I like new metal. Like I love Slipknot, early Corn. I have a soft spot, and I think Limp Bizkit's hilarious. And
What's your
Yeah,
also
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
was
Limp Bizkit record?
oh, absolutely Chocolate Starfish. Chocolate
Yeah,
Starfish. Like it's
so
just like
good.
you can't the production and the silliness and the fact that when he has emotions, I almost believe they're real. Like it's I fuck with Fred Durst. He also fucks with the Dolls. He was in TV Glow, I think. So like um yeah, and also Wes Borland is a fantastic guitarist. He is
Mhm.
such an innovative. His use of wahs while doing
Yeah.
low-pitched riffs, I think, is really cool. Like it's like you listen to a Limp Bizkit song, and you realize like, hang on, what's the guitars are really interesting, right? Like they're not the most technical all the time, but they're very interesting. And yeah, like I kind of grew because new metal is one of the things I kind of grew up with because it was everywhere in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I guess like Deftones, if they count as new metal, that used to
Adjacent.
kind of
Yeah.
adrenaline, I guess. I didn't like adrenaline, and I only like around the Furrows when they started being brilliant. And yeah, they're one of my favorite bands too. So like, um, yeah, but like butt rock, no, it's just like I don't know. It just sounds like a divorced dad beating up his wife. It just sounds like that transphobic dude who went to high school with, who is just like in jail now. Like it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Sounds
I don't
like that
know.
because it is that.
It
Yeah,
is
it is
that.
that.
Accurate.
It sounds like I don't know, and he's a Christian somehow, and like I don't know, like
It's
they all these
A born
yeah,
again
yeah,
yodeling,
guy.
yeah.
like Steve Albini said. Like I don't know, like I fucking I don't know, like I
It's
guess when
kind of a
they
spectacle in of
it
itself.
is, I guess it's a masculine spectacle because you don't really
Yeah.
have any feminine butt rock, and I'm like not really interested in that. Like that kind of dude, I've been spending my entire
Oh,
life
I'm
trying to
sure there
avoid.
is.
I was gonna say I'm trying to
Is that
think
girl? I guess
so
OTEP,
hard.
but that's new metal. Like
Yeah.
all the women did new metal, and all those women new metal bands ended up just turning into metal bands like Kitty. Like, and Kitty were
Yeah.
fucking sick. Kitty were incredible. Like but and like OTEP ended up being a lesbian and like stuff like that. But like whereas like butt rock, it's just like and it's too close to Christian rock when and
Mm.
often it overlaps with it, and I don't fuck with that. It's just I don't know. There's nothing interesting compositionally going. I guess the most interesting thing is the yarbling, yarling. I don't know that.
Well,
Yeah.
What
have
is
you
that?
looked at the album covers for the Creed records? There's something fucking going on with that guy. And so it makes you want to
Meth.
read into it a little bit. I mean that if that's the case,
Yeah.
then like yeah, if he's on meth, I don't know. But even if he is, again,
Yeah.
it becomes this fascinating thing of what's wrong with him? What's wrong
I
with
just
these
think
guys?
just lead poisoning. I don't know. I don't know. Like
Like half
lead
of the
poisoning.
population of the US.
Yeah, like I honestly have no explanation. I don't know. Like when Linkin Park did a few of those kind of graphics, like you see in the end, and I love Linkin Park. The first two records at least, like Meteor and
Yeah,
Hybrid Theory, fucking sick. And like yeah, I think it's in the end, which has the 3D. It looks like a Creed video,
Mhm.
but it's just kind of like you just like, oh, they're just nerdy boys. God bless them.
yeah,
That's great. Whereas Creed is like, this is what they think is genuinely the coolest thing on the planet, and this is what they think is like gonna get them chicks. Like you can see everything here is just like them trying to acquire what they call a female, and like
yeah.
I don't know. It's just like while being Christian, which is just no. Yeah. I don't know. I think it, but it's also there's not much like musically going on. I guess Nickelback they had like the heaviest, some of the weirdly heavy songs, and say the Breaking Benjamin. But I remember listening to like the new Nickelback song about prisons or something, and I'm like, this is somehow like sure it's got this like heavy riff here, but it somehow doesn't feel like a heavy song.
Mhm.
It's like I don't know. It feels like you've just bought a car and you're just drinking, a bottle of whiskey and you're driving it straight into your local dollar store. Like it's like I don't know. Like I
It
just
kind of
don't
goes
like it.
hard.
It's a heavy
I have
weight.
a
Um,
I have a personal theory that like we will not get any more butt rock unless something like 9/11 happens in America again. Because like that's the thing, like we all kind of unified with butt rock and like WWE and just that kind of media in the first place. And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like 9/11 is partially what really and just, like war, that's what made everybody want to, write music like Avenged Sevenfold and uh yeah, Creed and Daughtry and stuff. And it's gone. I
Mm.
mean, that like phenomenon, like musical phenomenon doesn't really exist. Not even in, the South where I live. It's not really a thing. But
Mm.
if something, if I mean, let's say God forbid something like 9/11 happened again,
it's gonna be
maybe
9/12 now,
yeah,
right?
it'd be if 9/12 happened, then we might get butt rock again. I think that might happen.
How did
That's
we
my
get from
personal.
talking about choirs of the eye to there won't be any more butt rock until the next 9/11? What happened to this podcast?
It's dialectics. Like I think it's also 9/11 also killed new metal. But new metal came back when all the Zoomers discovered ketamine. And like, it came back through Deftones as like a quasi new metal band. Or at least used to
Deftones
be a
never
new metal
left. I
band.
mean, they've been going.
And they never left. They're more popular than ever. Like they like some of the more recent records, like 2010s records are fantastic.
They're great.
Like I don't
They've
know,
been
Chino is
horny
one
for
of the
like
best
40
vocalists.
years.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I don't know. And Chino's like one of my like a massive vocal inspiration as
Yeah.
well. But like and lyrical as well. He's an astounding lyricist. But like um yeah, like 9/11 killed that. I guess that I don't think they took themselves too seriously, a lot of those butt rock bands to a certain degree. That's like they look at this photograph, that's why it's like that. It's kind of like a K-pop video, like one of those soppy K-pop or
Mm.
J-pop or whatever, like
It's a
romantic
ballad.
video ones. A ballad, yeah, right. And like it's just like the innocence was lost when like, to quote The Matrix, 1999 was the pinnacle of human civilization in terms of things going uphill. And then 2001 is when things started going downhill, and now we're close to the end of the world. And with that apocalypse coming, people are starting, I think, being more serious. So we can just say work killed bot rock. Like it just did.
True.
I think we're ready for
Good.
a Power Man 5000 reunion.
I love what is it?
Yeah,
What
dude.
is it when worlds collide?
When worlds
Yeah.
collide. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're still going.
They
Are
are?
they still going? I think
Oh,
so. I think they lost a lot of funding for the cool music videos because
Are
we
they
don't
on
have
Metal
physical
Archives?
I'm gonna say no.
Ah, probably. I'll check. Hang on.
Metal
I'll check.
Archives.
Yeah.
Power Man, Power Man 5000 Metal Archives. The answer is Rob Zombie is on there.
That checks out.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Oof, oof, because that's his brother.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
So
Power
actually,
you got
Man?
you got Rob Zombie, White Zombie,
yeah,
and did they have any other brothers? Is there a Miss Zombie or
Oh yeah,
anybody else in there?
yeah. Rob Zombie has a wife, and he's apparently just been married to her for ages. He's just a wife guy, and she acts in
Yeah.
the movies and stuff. And I think that's so sweet. It's a bit like Mila Jojovich's husband, who just like, I've got directing another 14 horrible Resident Evil movie. My beautiful wife, would you like to be in it? And I think that's just romantic as hell. I think
He's
that's,
begging
I don't
his
know.
wife. He's begging his wife,
Yeah.
like, will you do the yeah on one of these songs? And she's like, I don't do that. That's not me. That's like your
Stop
thing.
asking
I
me.
fucking leave me alone. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. I I don't know. I think it's that zeitgeist went away with like humanities. I think the 90s was like when cost of living was much lower. There wasn't as many like overt problems in the first world. Like I guess because people weren't as dead broke as they are now. Um, and also like there wasn't social media. There wasn't the
Yeah.
democratization and the opposite of democratization afterwards of the internet. That was just starting. And like yeah, like when it's interesting that all that stuff started to disappear with social media. It's also because a lot of that stuff was overtly cringe. And like when social media appears, you need to appear the least cringe as possible. Otherwise, you get a Kiwi Farms thing about you or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like it's just kind of like I don't know. I think there was multiple factors, but like I guess
Flip
new metal's
side
back
though.
and
Flip side, I don't think we would have vaporwave without 9/11.
correct. Yeah,
I think that's true.
yeah.
Fair.
We wouldn't have what else wouldn't we have without? We have
We
so many
wouldn't have
things.
that Saddam Hussein meme.
Yeah, that's a really good
About
one.
him having CS:GO on his computer or what?
No, just the one that he's like underground.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Got you.
Any situation, he's just underground. He's below it,
That's
just
a
planking. Like, but, but
that's the
I don't know.
pinnacle of humanity.
Yeah, Balthism's gone because the Syrian regime's dead. Like, yeah, like that entire ideology he was part of is just disappeared forever this year. Like, it's wild. Like, yeah, like we don't have that kind of dictator anymore. I don't know. We just have like much worse dictators in a way, where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the same amount of genocide, but you just can't stop it. Like you know, we they just don't do it with nerve gas. Like you know, but
What if the internet was bad, actually?
oh, that's why I'm off it for a lot more now. It's just so rough. Like I just like it just get burnt out. I think so many people, the reason so many people are burnt out is they can't stop using social media and doing digital self-harm with it. Like you're just like, yeah, what's the new horrible thing the Trump administration's gonna do? And it's just like every time it's just like you take a hit to your HP. Or like what new horrible thing is the new rise of the right in Europe are gonna do? Or like is that stuff gonna come to my country? Or like which minorities are in the death list and like which how many genocides are happening? 40 so many of them and then global warming. Like it's just I don't know. Like
If
it's
the whole
it's
Trump
rough.
situation wasn't so legitimately scary, it would be hilarious because like he ran on all this
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm going to lower grocery prices and yada yada.
Yeah.
He gets elected and the next day he's like I'm taking back the
Tariffs.
Panama Canal. What are you talking about?
I'm taking back Greenland.
Nobody
The
asked for
Gulf of
this. What are you
America.
doing?
Yeah, and all my friends are dying over there. So like,
US
and
to
it's
annex
burning.
Canada.
Yeah, except now Canada might be going that way too. With Trudeau
Yeah, sadly.
leaving, and there's trans people I know in Canada are freaking out now because if
Yeah.
the other guy is, yeah,
I know a guy who
Too
lives in
bad.
Alberta, and Alberta is like the Alabama of Canada. Like it's legitimately
mm,
redneck and conservative and just
mm.
surreal.
It is.
Well, dude, Dave, that means that, dude, if you become my brother in the States, you could visit me. I don't, would you still need a passport or no?
I
Could
don't know.
you just drive down to me? I mean, that's not drive down. How far is it? 30 minutes? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
45?
Like our Alabama or Florida is Queensland. It's more accurate to say it's our Florida because it's very humid. and all our equivalents of rednecks come from there. It's really conservative. Not in the main city. Main city's fine. Like Brisbane's lovely, in fact, but it's like wet bulb level hot. They have constant cyclones. Lots of evil, more evil creatures are there rather than where I live, and
Mm.
just like yeah, insane levels of bigotry and racism and everything phobia. Um, yeah, my girlfriend comes from Queensland. And like it's just like, yeah, we don't want to. It's every. I think every country has their own equivalent. That's what I kind of sincerely believe. Any country like beyond a certain size has their own kind of like place you don't want to really go to, and if you don't have, if you are
But
different in literally any way.
but the Matt said, the Alberta is like the Alabama of Canada, but it's not like on the same level of Alabama. It's just like maybe the
Mm,
worst offender in Canada, but uh,
yeah.
maybe like Queensland is like that. It's like maybe the worst offender in
Yes.
Australia, but it's
Yeah.
not as bad, like factually, maybe.
Yeah, we don't have as much religious fundamentalism here. We're not as much we're not a religious as religious of a country.
Yeah.
Um and we don't really have like I don't know, like we don't have as many people. And it's also less people spread further around. But it's also we are still a very violently racist colony. Like yeah, and so like it's up there. It's the worst. People who get it the worst, the First Nations people who are regularly put in jails, including kids. A lot of them die in jails. 80% of the jails up there are full of First Nation people. Um, and yeah, their quality of life is just ridiculously. It's actually on par with a really really rough place in a third world country. That some I think their like life expectancy is 20 years lower than any other group of people. It's like really rough. And in Northern Territory, like they barely have any voting rights and anything like that. And yeah, they keep getting in and out of prison because like intergenerational racist, genocide trauma. Like um, and that's mostly more towards the north where that stuff happens. And like there's towns you can't drink alcohol in because of like
Yeah.
paternalistic policies to stop crime, and they've changed a bunch of rules up in I think Northern Territory. The jails are all full. They don't have enough space in jails because they put too many First Nation people, a lot of them youth, in there. Um, it's fucking awful, in fact. So they're like, sure, they're less bad, but they're still like, oh yeah. But then you
Yeah.
look at what happens to non-white folk and especially First Nations folk. No, they're fucking evil. A lot of those
Well,
places,
this
especially
the
cops there.
situation
Yeah,
is pretty much the same here in Canada for
yeah,
First
I
Nations and
imagine.
all of that.
Mm,
Kind of, kind of really sucks.
yeah, it's actually it's pretty disgusting. And like, so we like in Australia we've had more kind of awareness around kind of like I guess First Nation like liberation. And we have like a day called Australia, which is like our Independence Day of Australia Day, which is now just 200,000 people go to Melbourne and just say call it Invasion Day instead, and cause do a giant fucking march every time. It's just none of that has actually translated into much political action because it's all just like just white landlords in both of our
Yeah.
parties, which are very similar to the Canadian and English left and right. Like it's our Labor is English Labor, and our Liberal Party, because liberal means conservative in Australia, because we're literally upside down, because it means neoliberal, is our Conservative Party. Um, so because it's economic liberalism, but social conservative, it's so confusing, and they're both shit. Yeah. So I don't know. I have only negative things to say about the Australian government. Like, other than the fact that just because there's other places that are worse, doesn't mean any
Yeah.
of it's kind of excusable. Like, but yeah, choirs of the eye.
Well, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask, how do your politics translate into your music process?
Uh, I don't know. Like, I guess, well, think of black metal, right? Which is the gapest,
I
keepiest
always think of black metal.
genre. It has the most fighting, of people going like, well, this band's really cool, but like, the guy's a bit sus, right? And like some people
Yeah.
then like then and when the guy's a bit sus, he's like literally a murderous guy, like a head Nazi, like Varg, or like I don't know, like just a pedophile Nazi, like Mika Asper and stuff like that. And unfortunately, Deathspell have done really good records, and so conflicted about that because that dude sucks. Like,
Yeah.
and but there's so much gatekeeping, and the conservatism and the gatekeeping are correlated, and so is like um the lack of experimentation is correlated with gatekeeping, right? So if you know what true black metal, and it's insane that people even that still consider Deathspell true black metal, considering what is musically going on.
Yeah.
That kind of ethos of like keeping things the same is called something, and to gatekeep, you are trying to conserve something. Um, and sometimes they have experimentalism, but it's within acceptable boundaries. But it's rarely things that like critique, let's say, like masculinity or like feminizing if they are feminine. It's kind of like this kind of, I don't know, like you have to be like a European trad wife and do siren song stuff for it.
Mm.
Um, and there's a direct correlation between it. It's why it's fascinating that you have Wolves of the Throne Room like spin that around, and come from it like from a, I guess like a anarchist perspective, and then you have the entire NSBM versus R, what is it,
RABM.
RABM, like which is where all the interesting stuff is happening was the non-Nazi black metal from agriculture
Real
to religion
American
to
black metal.
Exactly.
Real
yeah, true
American.
American, real American, except not all of it
But
is.
black metal.
Yeah, butt
Real
metal,
American butt metal.
butt
Dude,
metal. Yeah,
please,
I.
please.
But it's interesting. Like you have like certain kind of minorities or certain people with a certain mindset, and of course they're gonna like look at this gatekeeping and go like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That's boring. You have also a correlation, like, yeah, between people who don't fit in to getting into weird music, obviously, but in like say black metal and certain other scenes as well, where they just like do the gatekeeping thing, and it's usually kind of it is a conservative practice. Like it's difficult to do experimentalism if you do that because there's certain limits of what you can do. Um, and even through there should be limits of what you can do, and the Nazis keep doing them. In the music of having kind of like the most anti-Semitic lyrics imaginable and stuff like that. But they that's I think the correlation between just a lot of experimental music and and I guess like left politics is like because it's progressive. Like, you have progressive politics, progressive metal, right? It's kind of it makes sense because if conservation and conservatism and fascism and all
Well,
those
is it
reactionary
though?
beliefs, yeah.
Is it
But it's
because
not one to one though. It's not one to one. There are
well,
exceptions.
what I mean is like the progressive rock and progressive metal genres, they have
Yeah.
like this standard sound, and if you
Yeah.
deviate from that, you're not even prog,
It makes
just
where's the
like
progression?
experimental or something else.
There's an
Yeah.
ongoing dialogue or argument
Yeah.
about progressive metal and even progressive rock as genre descriptor versus ethos.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Mhm.
progressing right now, or are you sounding like the progressive music of the 70s and 80s?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I like both of
Exactly.
those things. So I
I
like
I
the argument.
like yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like I think things that try to sound like Yes now or like Pink Floyd, it's not progressing, it's rehashing. It's kind
But
of
it's
like
still
a
great.
throwback.
I want you
It,
to
it
sound
I
like
fucking love Yes.
it.
Like I love Close to the Edge, but like I mean kind of like music that is actually progressive in that way. Otherwise you do start getting people trying to keep things traditions and things the same and don't want things to change and stuff like that. Which is usually caused by people who might have some kind of privilege where they don't want to lose it, is often where conservative politics come from. Whereas if you don't have privileges, say you're like, I don't know, trans, disabled, not white, whatever, um, and so on, then it's like, what am I conserving? My own oppression? Like, like why would I'm already gate kept everywhere. Like, I like literally like I can't use a bathroom if I went to Florida. Like I could go to jail and then get detransitioned forcibly in jail, assuming my government doesn't bail me out. and that's happened to people there already. They've ruled it that it's okay to detransition trans prisoners, who are more likely to be there for just using the bathroom that correlates, and only for trans women, not anyone else with their gender. Um, and it's like, okay, so that let's just say that's the most extreme form of gatekeeping imaginable, which is literally bathroom segregation. Why would you do gatekeeping elsewhere? Like it doesn't. It's kind of like you've been on the other side, right? And you're already considered like outside everything that's the norm, and it's very difficult to find a place in it. Why wouldn't you embrace? You can try and conform, and it doesn't matter. Like even if like you're say like a trans passes, like I pass reasonably well in the street, I don't really get much street transphobia. It's not going to undo that. There's no amount of fitting in and being a pick me and trying to conform is going to undo that. So you might as well embrace being weird, especially if you add like autism, ADHD, other neurodivergence, disability, and stuff in it, where you literally don't have the neurochemistry to conform. You just you get exhausted, you burn out if you try. So if conformity and gatekeeping are essentially the same, we just equivocate them. Of course, we're all into experimental music, and then you add ADHD, and it's like you need new things all the time. You need the shiny new thing, so you need to experiment to find the shiny new thing. Um, like it's there is, and I think that's not just for me, I think that's the universal correlation. Like it's not fully 100% universal because a lot of when noise music comes from a lot of it comes from Italian futurism, which is famously tied in with the fascists, the Mussolini, the Italian fascist movement. But and there are experimental projects that are by sus people, but generally that's against the rule, that's against the norm. Um, and yeah, like it's kind of like, yeah, I that's the answer.
So, is your music socialist? That's the
I
big question.
I'm an anarcho-communist, and
What, yeah,
like,
what
yeah,
ideology is your music?
I don't really say it's like it's trans feminist explicitly. That's I think the biggest ideology behind it. But like, other than that, it's like I don't really do leftist sectarianism. I don't like the Marxist versus anarchist versus democratic socialist stuff. I'm just like the world's ending. We all need to team up. Um, like, um, but
Agreed.
a lot of that stuff is just kind of like if someone who is, I'm going to be honest, if someone who is a more conservative listens to it and feels something from it, I think that's a success for the music. Like, because then they're feeling empathy for an other, right? Um, and like, music needs to not like, sure, you can, other than things like anarcho punk and like its opposite, naughtier kind of punk, Nazi punk and stuff like where they just like this is music about an ideology. For me, it's kind of like art has to kind of transcend it because like one of its functions is empathy and allowing people to transmit an experience or a feeling. Um, and if you have like say a minority doing that, it's just kind of like cool. Like then it doesn't matter if you have a conservative say person say liking I don't know, you know hip hop from black person that they've already felt something, they've already kind of lost. So if they are racist, they have to their racism gets into cognitive dissonance with that the fact that they I don't know really dig JPEG Mafia or something like like it's kind
Well,
of like yeah
I think conservatives are like the kings of cognitive dissonance. They're like
yeah
super able to deal with it.
they are, but they are also terrible at dealing with it at the same time because they like conservatives do a lot of infighting and stuff like that. Reactionaries in general do, but like they also like they have their moments of like everyone coming together and they can keep the cognitive dissonance up. But then like the truth happens, like they'll be like, yeah, climate change isn't real, then LA is on fire, right? And or like like it's they have to do a lot of lying, um,
Yeah.
and the truth catches up. And cognitive dissonance is a bit like that. And sure, they can hold on to it, but that takes energy. And the fact it takes energy is important, right? Like, it's like, sure, I guess I'm coming from an autistic perspective, but we do not deal with cognitive dissonance. That's why we're so blunt and so, like, have to be very kind of logical about things, like, kind of like Spock like. Like, I'm even more so than a few of my autistic friends more on this side of things where I'm just kind of like, all right, I can't really, it's why I'm not religious. It's why I'm super like into sciencey stuff, like, like astrophysics, meteorology, and like I need things to kind of be true because I can't really deal with cognitive dissonance. It's why I'm out as well. I think it's why autistic people are more likely to come out. Dealing with two closets, masking your autism and being queer in some way, it's not particularly pleasant. It's extremely horrible. I wrote an album about it. Like, but it's just kind of like yeah, like, and I guess cognitive dissonance puts a drain on the system of whether it's a brain or a single person or like a whole ideology. And I think that's its political purpose. And if I start going around and say, yeah, you don't have to be left wing to listen to my music, I'm like, well, no, because this could be part of what if this helps deprogram someone? Because I've had cis people come up to me and say, wow, that helped me understand the trans experience. I was like, that wasn't intended for you, but great. Fantastic. Like, that's cool. Like, you felt a feeling. That's actually really cool. That's very important. Like, and like, or like I think that's really a powerful thing about art. And yeah, the more you say it's political, like the less effective it might be. But I guess in that sense, it's kind of more focused on that. It is like anti-fascist. Like I do have very explicit lyrics dealing with like capitalism and fascism and stuff like that. Especially including in upcoming stuff where it's a little more evident with when I'm starting to delve into more of stories, more fictional worlds. But like, it's just yeah, like I don't like gatekeeping, and especially when people actually are well intentioned coming into it. They're not just trying to start a fight or abuse or like be in a quote unquote debate they don't intend to lose by using Ben Shapiro tactics or whatever. If they come into it with an open mind and they feel something, yeah, that is what a victory. Or if they just enjoy it, if they just go, this is cool sound design. I don't know, cool. I think that's enough, right? I'm not any. I'm just a musician. I don't really and sound person in general, but like I don't really think I can aspire to much more than that.
I don't know if we talked about it on one of the last episodes already, but on the topic of just like what is the political ideology of the music, I feel like it's impossible in my opinion. Like you can't make something that isn't at least somehow representative of your values. Like it's
Yeah.
impossible. Like even if someone makes music where they play a character, or even if the lyrics are just lies, like those lies are still representative of some value that they have. And because their art is representative of their value or their identity, it's inherently political. It's like
Yeah.
inextricable. um Even silly ass like okay, I've been working on this song with one of my friends because we keep seeing all these monkey videos on Instagram, so we've been making a rap song about some monkeys. Still, that tells you something about my values, I
Mm.
love the monkey videos,
Mm.
so I think it's impossible to not make something that is political
Well, I
because
mean, authors kind of do that sometimes. Like they'd have like characters that aren't like maybe the opposite of them.
but that still reveals what the truth is. If like a character is the opposite of them, and if you can gather that from the material, then you kind of get an insight as to what the truth of their values are.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, I said the opposite, but it could be anything, right?
Mm.
And
What do
they can
you
be like they can be put in a bright light or maybe as an antagonist or something. They could be put in any kind of situation, and you couldn't tell what the politics of the author were if the author is actually good in making their book.
what do
I
you
don't know. I
think
think
what do you think the politics of uh choirs of the eye are? That Summer's awesome. That was my take.
it's not a particularly masculine album. like there's something about Toby Driver's decision to sing in falsetto in a kind of more Jeff Buckley way, um, through a very esoterically experimental record, with heartfelt lyric, the lyric, the poetry slash lyrics, and Jason Byron. There is like you can see politics not just by what's there and what's dictated to you and
Yeah.
so on. You can see what also in a more fundamental, I guess, the conditions that make something possible way. Like, all right, so if you have clearly the politics of hypermasculine aggression, if that was there, then why are these other elements there in the music, right? And this can sometimes go against the artist's own intentions, right? These things can be unconscious. Like take hair metal, which is meant to be the height of machismo. They're cross-dressing. They're fucking cross-dressing. Like half the time they're cross. It's half the time they pass better than me. Like they just they like, but like they go like, yeah, we're trying to get chicks. And I was like, why you're fucking serving absolute cunt with those
That's just the
eyelashes.
80s.
Like, yeah, but that's the point. Is like there's kind of two levels: the explicit meaning, and then there's the kind of the unconscious level of artwork in general, and also like a lot of academic work, especially the humanities, right? Where what you emit and what you include is a decision, right? So like, if you like, I remember like someone playing Choirs of the Eye in his workplace when I was a kid, some high school friend, and he started playing, I think, Manifold Curiosity, and he's a line cook, and the head chef was like, "What the fuck is this postmodern bullshit? Turn it off." Right?
Whoa, that's a crazy critique for the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yes. So it was like,
It's sounding a little postmodern in here. Let's fucking turn it off.
yeah.
Holy cow.
So
We're
it's
modern
in
kitchen.
anti-intellectualism, right? Which is in Australia quite big. We hate eggheads here. Like we hate nerds. Like I
Facts.
don't. I am one, but like it's just kind of like a jock country. But like sport takes up half of our news and everything. It's just ridiculous. But like, um, yeah, but that's the anti-intellectualism often has a conservative bent, or like it is its own political point. Sometimes there is obviously, I guess, left-wing anti-intellectualism, but then there's sometimes just like insane nihilistic anti-intellectualism, like the Khmer Rouge, where they just killed anyone with glasses. So like, you know, a bit of a situation but for me, but like yeah, that is a political decision. Just hearing the fact it's experimental, and there's some dude with a doing like singing top of his range quite beautifully, and then one moment, and then a black metal part which with like a saxophone and a violin in it. Like it's kind of like especially the class associations with experimental music, especially say the classical and tradition where it's very much classical music was traditionally of the bourgeoisie, right? And modern classical tried to rebel against it, especially given the politics of a lot of the 20th century composers. But they still come from that tradition. They still come from something with a tradition, is the kind of the point, as opposed to say like blues and jazz, which has a completely different background. Um, and yeah, so that's that. Yes, it has a politics to it. That's one example of it. Like our tastes in music have politics to them. And even if there is, it's just kind of escapist fantasy and existential, gorgeous lyrics, right? Of I don't even know what half of them are about. But they're pretty and like they take you to another world. They're escapist in that part, especially with musical backing. It's kind of like, it's like reading a urban fantasy kind of book, right? And but why are some people attracted to fantasy and escapism, right? Then you have to ask that question. But also what allows this to even be possible? What are the traditions involved? And like it's especially when you get to modern classical music, people who can read music, which I cannot. I can't read music. I can read tabs. That's the best I can do.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
there's an academic tradition there, right? And there's also the snobbery of that as well. As like you can't
Yeah.
read music, well, you can't be a musician, right? For some, especially like that was an opinion that used to be around quite a bit. And if you can't do these standardized things, then you can't do it at all, which then gatekeeps people, especially say dyslexic person like me, or I can't read very well. I can read pretty well when it's a big book, but I can't like it from philosophy. But when it's like certain other things, I need to color code them to read it. And instead of like the fact that I can't read music is itself already political. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
like I have a learning disability. Um, and that meant I moved to guitar away from keyboard when I was like a young kid. And that meant that I went towards the rock tradition, metal and stuff and everything. Even though I liked, especially modern classical music, because after, especially hearing Kayo Dot and stuff when I was a teenager, I was like, I really want to learn how to read music and compose, like be a composer. But
Mm.
because of that, and I wasn't given the resources, I was just told to like, you can't do that, right? Like, so
It's
I'm
like,
like,
sorry, I didn't go to school for this shit. My parents couldn't pay for it. I'm fucking adding
yeah,
30 decibels of saturation in Ableton, then
yeah,
limiting it. So,
yeah,
did you know to do that? You know?
yeah. What
Yeah.
what is this postmodern bullshit? That's where that comes from,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like
Also, just for a second, I want to can we give Matt a second to show off the clout shirt? I want to see it. So we
clout.
got the modeling of the well clout
Oh,
shirt.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was
Which
also
which
represent.
which record's that on it, or is it just
Uh,
a design? I
I
can't
don't
really
know.
hang on.
It's one that came out recently when they sort of
Oh,
re-upped like
part the
both
second.
maybe. Well, no, it's I don't think it's a part of the
Was it?
second shirt. I think it's
No.
just a general modeling of the well shirt,
Yeah.
not album specific. But it has a bunch of it has a bunch of little square art pieces that probably have to do with the mystery puzzle of modeling of the well that I've never
I'm
dived into.
no. I don't think there is any. Like they say it's a mystery puzzle. I bet there is no solution. I bet that's just how they get you.
Hmm.
It's just like
No, they seem
there's
more
just
sincere than that though. Like these are weirdos who definitely would put some
maybe.
kind of
Oh
puzzle in
yeah.
their stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I,
I
I
was trying
only went
to
for
I was trying to play to the crowd too. So I listened to when you talked to Charlie from Extra Life, and you talked about a bunch of like mathcore and stuff. So I've got a From a Second Story window shirt. They actually
Oh my
just put
God,
a
yes.
single out. They just put a
Wait,
single
really?
out.
Holy
Yes.
shit.
It's
Oh my
fucking
God.
sick as hell. It's
I'm gonna
sick
have to
as
check that
hell.
out. That I'm so excited. I love
Yeah.
that first EP from a second story window did. What is it? The Cassandra Complex slash what not one word has been omitted with the old vocalist. It's just
Yeah.
it's just chef's kiss. I
It's
love it
sick
so
as
much.
fucking hell.
Go listen to it
Yeah.
now so you can react.
Where is it from? I'm so glad they're back. This everyone's coming back. We've got Jerome's Dream and
I
Orchid
know.
back and
I
like
was saying before we talked to you, I was like, dude, this conversation could go on for so long. If we start talking about mathcore, we will
yeah.
not talk about Kayo Dot.
No.
It will not happen. But the new
No.
single's fucking sick. New heavy Lolo's coming out. I'm stoked as fuck for that. Um,
Fuck.
yeah, I'm very there is a lot of cool stuff happening. And actually I was gonna ask just to go on about the MySpace thing, like uh I feel like so many people experienced that, and we experienced it in a local way a lot too, because I'm from the
Mm,
town where
mm.
Whitechapel is from. So every band wanted to be Whitechapel, and that's like still kind of just true, like
Yeah.
kind of just in metal bands all over the place. But
Mm.
every town in that like late 2000s, early 2000s, all the way into like 2013, basically all over the world had that MySpace core like
Yes.
thing that happened. And so
Yeah.
I was curious if you had any Australian bands to name drop from that bygone era.
I don't like them. But we
Okay.
Australia is a metalcore, like metalcore is massive here. It is huge. All the tradies love it. It's very much kind of a part of Australian culture, metalcore. So because we have Parkway Drive, Polaris. I'm just looking at Amity Infliction. I Killed the Prom Queen.
Whoa.
Fucking
Yeah.
Ocean Grove, which I used to my family would go to holiday to Ocean Grove and stuff like this. We have so much of it, and I don't like Polaris. I don't know who they are. I'm just North Lane. Don't know who they are. I don't really like it.
So
Um
was there
yeah,
like a Great Redneck Hope, or like Me and Him Call It Us sort of,
I
you
love
know, the
me and call it us.
like that kind of thing? Did that
Yes.
happen?
Yeah, it was we had basically two scenes. We had the main kind of metalcore scene, which had a lot of toxic masculinity and
Of
bullshit from
course,
what I
yeah.
remember, because we had like Michael Crafter and everything in it. And I just remember being a tiny little emo like femboy and just being like, this fucking sucks. This is shit.
Yeah.
But we did have some cool in the 2000s, I guess metalcore adjacent. Like our equivalent, me and him call it us, might be someone like Robotosaurus or Luca Barassi.
Oh, they're from
Robotosaurus were
Australia?
really sick. Robotosaurus, I think they're from Adelaide or were from Adelaide.
They're heavy as
Um,
fuck. Yeah,
we
so
also
good.
have like later on, one of my favorite bands of all time, which is Idols, with Idylls, who did Prayer for Terrain,
Yeah. Yeah,
who
yeah,
are from
yeah.
Queensland, and I played a show with them, I think 2018, and just such an incredible band. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's one of my favorite records. It's such a great record, and that's very much, I guess it's core adjacent, but they're more of a mathcore band with noise rock parts and stuff and grind.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's where a lot of it was. There was a few false grind bands, like I guess Robotosaurus. We had some like sludge metalcore. There was a band called Slowly Building Weapons who had a very,
Yeah,
very good
they're
record called
awesome.
Nausicaa, like
Ooh,
Nausicaa, which is named after the Ghibli film. It's just incredible. And then
yeah.
they became black metal, and I kind of wasn't quite as keen on that than the sludgy kind of like curl up and die Old Man Gloom style stuff, but it was still really cool. Hospital the Musical was another one. 11th He Reaches London, who are really good especially they had a bunch of early records about colonialism. Um, their first record, Hollow Be My Name, I think it's called. It's been a while, so um, Reaches London. I'm so glad I have a computer on me, which I necessarily
Yeah,
have
what
to
is
talk
that
to you.
band? So I followed Hospital the Musical. I had never heard of that one.
They weren't very. They only, I think, released a small amount of stuff before disbanding. But 11th He Reaches London were a lot bigger. They did yeah, the Good Fight for Harmony, Hollow Be My Name, which were Hollow Be My Name was fantastic. It's good post-hardcore.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head what else we had that was I was super into. But I think Slowly Building Weapons, 11th He Reaches London were probably Robotosaurus. This is ignoring screams, so we had incredible screamo scene and still do. Um,
Yeah.
like we have some of the best screamo bands on the planet. And always have. It's like our other tradition. But so we had from like 2000s Quebec, Quiet Steps, and a whole bunch of those kind of ones. And then recently we've got Gil Sarin and Blind Girls, who I'll be seeing soon. Gil
Oh
Sarin
my
are just
God.
fucking
Blind Girls
incredible.
is
Like
so fucking
Blind
good.
Girls are great. I can't remember. I think I remember talking to them. I think I may have played a show. I can't remember, but like I remember like talking to them years ago. But like, yeah, like and like a few other bands, Diploid, Auto Glance,
So good.
just so many.
Fuck, I
Yeah,
forget
like
their, yeah, yeah, yeah. Diploid,
So
so
good.
so goddamn good.
oh,
That's
Diploid are
insane.
old friends of mine. I'm in a band with I'm technically in a noisecore project with Reese from Diploid, and Reese and I did a record under our noise projects 2018 Apple of Every Eye. I've played with Diploid like 10 plus times. They're just
That's insane.
kind of a constant. So World at a Glance, I played my first show was with World at a Glance, who also had members of Diploid in and out because they were part of that same kind of group. And they're fantastic. Their new record's great too. And yeah, like Scott's also in World at a Glance is also in the noisecore thing I occasionally do when I don't want to play an Uboa set when I'm asked to do a local show called Infinite Pig Harvest. I just play guitar on it. Just kind of sissy space style stuff. And
Sick.
yeah, we've also got who's one of the other members. Dace is also in Infinite Pig Harvest. He's band Well is very similar to Kowloon Walled City. Very, very cool.
Fuck
Like I could
yeah.
go all day, all my friends' bands. But yeah, like yeah, like we're pretty lucky with that. I think we have more that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but it's just like, yeah, our heavy music scene is pretty good here. And yeah, like we got so much good grindcore too, which often overlaps with screamer stuff like Diploid. We've also got like Flesh Prison. We've got
Yeah.
like Agents of Abhorrent, or who don't play many shows anymore, but same one of the same members of my disco, and Kill Out, who is a band I've played with, who are really cool, raw black metal. Yeah, we're spoiled for choice here, but still metalcore gets all the attention because it's just so much more popular than all the weird, interesting, cool shit. Where it's like, yeah, we got Parkway Drive, who are like, I don't know, we've had metalcore bands with members who've been on Big Brother and stuff like that. Like it's just like, I don't know, and it's just bores the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
like I like the metalcore that's angular and weird, like Poison the Well and on the
Yeah.
Second Story Window, and yeah, and like just and all the stuff that is technically metalcore, but you don't really see metalcore, what we now call metalcore, people listen to it, even though it's the original, not the weird original metalcore, but not the 90s metalcore, but like, oh, but a lot of it is like, Cursed and fucking Catharsis and stuff like that, or it's, yeah, like that stuff is great, like especially when it gets experimental or touches like screamer or post rock or like post metal or whatever, is when I really start digging it. Um, or it's kind of like, yeah, like Dillinger, and it just sounds like Seizure. It's also pretty good.
It's like, if if you like follow Mathcore Index, or if you were like nostalgic for this kind of music at all, you listen to so much of it, and I feel like my taste for it has been simplified to just, I just like
Mm,
mid-rangey, and I think a high scream is cooler than a low scream. That's like
mm.
the broadest way to describe the taste of,
Yeah,
yeah. High scream's cooler than a low scream. Sorry. It's just cooler.
that's one of my favorite mathcore bands, who are actually from Canada. They disbanded a while ago. They were called The End. Um,
Yes.
and and they did, was it
Yes.
False Omniscient and Within Davidia, which is also one of my favorite
So
records, because,
good.
and it's just like Within Davidia, especially that terrifying, like haunted atmosphere. Um, I don't know, it reminds me of Ethel Cain's new record actually, but like it's kind of like all
I've
about
been
being in the
putting off
countryside and shit.
bringing that up. I've been putting off
It's
bringing up the new Ethel Cain because I
I
have a
love it.
lot of thoughts about it, and it's fucking amazing. And I've been
I love
talking
it.
to the chat about it, but
I love it so much. I'm so
it's
glad
so
she's
fucking good.
joined the dark ambient side of the force. So like, but yeah, like yeah, the end was so cool. Like within the video, and then they just did a album that had clean singing, and I was like, oh, I guess this sounds like Tool now, and then they broke up. Um, but yeah,
In terms of cultural relevance, that girl scream in that Job for a Cowboy song was up there with 9/11
yes,
for core music. It really was. People heard that, and they were like, my life is fucking changed now. Because I feel like
yeah.
it was for me too.
And the reverse
So
snare sample before the
yeah.
I remember the riff afterwards. It's now playing in my head.
Yeah.
I have to admit, out of all the normal metalcore, quote, and deathcore, Doom goes pretty hard. I think it's the only one of normal deathcore I can stand. The rest is like, it either has to be interesting deathcore, or it's not. I don't know. Like that was
Yeah.
just cool because it was like had the meme around it, I guess, and it was
Well, you
like
have close to you, you have Doom Shrugs from New
Doom
Zealand.
Frog. Doom Frog. I haven't heard of them.
Doom Shrugs? No, nothing.
Nope.
Damn, you need to
I'm not
look
really in the
at that.
scene, so yeah, I don't really go to those kind of shows anymore. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm just trying to think of the stuff. Actually, most of the metalcore that was really sick was also Canadian. Was because it started mixing with mathcore, like Ion Dissonance and
Mm.
early
As
Despised
the
Icon.
hero.
Yeah, like just like I love Ion Dissonance so much. They just
Yeah.
I don't their tuning they use is just batshit insane. Like and like yeah, that stuff that's I guess culturally metalcore, but technically isn't. It goes into another thing. They'll play with metalcore bands, but they are not themselves. There's too much other stuff going on, like, you know,
Hmm.
whether it's mathcore or like someone who's clean singing really good at it, like Poison the Well, like, you know. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I grew up with. That was the teenage hood I had, which was like half like metalcore and scene and emo
Big
and stuff was
respect.
exploding.
Big
I
respect.
had the hair. I looked a bit like young Sonny Moore. I was a teen for
Respect.
a period of the teenage, but I listened to like that post metal and grindcore and death metal and only a small amount of that metalcore stuff. My heart was always in like especially grindcore, like Big Destroyer and is it Nausum? I can't pronounce it. I've listened to them for so long and they've been gone for sadly for so long. But all that kind of I had this grindcore phase that I'm still in. I'm working on a grind record, but it's
Power
a
violence.
Let's fucking go.
yeah. It was heaps of good grind here as well. So it was like yeah, like blast beats are fun.
How would you
Yeah.
describe the difference between grindcore and power violence?
Oh, Power Violence has that me
Yeah, it's the
vocal.
vocal.
Yeah,
It's the
the
vocal.
caveman vocal. Man is the
Yeah.
bastard vocals. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also has less blast and more D beats. It's tuned higher, so grindcore tends to tune from C to A to lower. Whereas Power Violence is in like drop C, drop D, maybe even standard, because it's more punky. Um, but and also like the themes and the scenes are different. Like it's kind of
Okay.
closer to hardcore. But and grindcore is more slightly closer, but not fully closer to death metal. Um,
Totally.
and like so you can have straight edge power violence bands, but you're less likely to get a straight edge grindcore band unless it's like 2004, where you have someone with a white belt. Um, but yeah, it's the me like kind of.
Yeah,
We have a band
the
called Chuff here who really sick and do that, and it's I love it every time. I'm keen.
say the
So
band
it's
name again. I want to
a
know.
Chuff, which is an Australian word for weed. Um, so you get some fucking chuff to say it. Yeah,
Can
Cool.
you
it's
spell it?
we have CHOOF.
Okay, sick.
Australian English is a beautiful thing. It's we don't say
Sick.
cigarettes here, we say durries. So and you punch a durry or a dart.
Sick.
I don't smoke, but like yeah, that's learning
That's so
our
sick.
language. Yeah.
I feel
Um
like partially the difference too is how do like how do you respond to being drunk is also a slightly difference in power violence versus grind. Feel like to me grind it could be beer or liquor. Power violence in my mind is more just beer.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to say that one seems more responsible than the other necessarily, but I don't want to say that the IQ seems like different. That's not fair at all. I think that power violence has like a slightly lower ceiling for intellectual records. I think there's
Mm,
like smart guy grind, like ion dissonance, it's like that's smart. What's
yeah.
the smartest PV record? I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's very caveman-esque. That's kind of like why man is the bastard at the Neanderthal skulls. Like
Yeah,
Uh, but also like there's some great power violence. A lot of it's also because of its ties to hardcore has like
yeah,
it's more overtly political, and grindcore is still very overtly political a lot of the time.
yeah, totally.
Um, like it's mostly anarchists and then a few idiots. But like there is, and sometimes both, but like there is like yeah, like there's this band. Oh, what were they called? Sex Prisoner. I was really listening to recently, and they clearly inspired by like Despise You and everything. And Despise You are very much talking about like in an I Heart God way, like urban decay and poverty and drugs and stuff. Like they were talking about that from a very political perspective. So like it's political, but more like a hardcore band is. Whereas like
Yeah,
um grindcore is more political in a metal way when it is political. Like kind
yeah,
of like how Napalm Death is and Nails and Were and quite a few others. Or through some grindcore is more political, like a hardcore band, because it depends on your scene. And like it like there's the scene associations. I think are the most important difference. because like grindcore bands will frequently play
Yeah,
with metal bands and metal festivals, and power violence bands will often play hardcore festivals and with hardcore bands.
that's
They
true.
can swap around, especially in Australia where there's not many people. So you go to a lineup and it's like a doom metal band like Whitehorse, and then a noise project, and then like a screamer project, and then I don't know, like someone playing breakcore, like because
Yeah,
there's just not enough for more exclusivity, and also it's kind of boring. But like that's what I think it is. But like then you get like like grindcore bands. I guess like Cloud Rat Strike Me is very much from a DIY hardcore scene,
sure.
like DIY punk stuff. Like it's kind of like the because I come also from a DIY punk background, which is kind of weird now getting another job. So it's like yeah, like I understand that background and what it's like to be in it. And it's very different from metal where commercialize being commercial in it is more accepted. Um, Whereas in DIY scenes, it's kind of I think that's it. I think it's also why grindcore bands tend to get bigger as well, and they're happy to get
Yeah.
signed to someone like Relapse or
Yeah, I
something
can't
like that.
think of one
So
Nazi
yeah,
power violence band. That would
no,
be odd. Yeah, I don't think it would really fly.
oh
Um
no, this who are they going to play to?
yeah. Yeah.
Where are you going to
Yeah.
find the Nazi power violence kids? Like they're all fucking straight edge vegan anarchists with
Yeah,
like
yeah,
who
yeah.
go to um pro-Palestinian rallies. Like they're like
Yeah.
who are they going to play to? Like so it's. And it's good that there is no Nazi power violence bands. That would be awful if there was. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that's kind of a different. But it's never fixed in stone. There's every because you can have things that in between grindcore and power violence and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, um, yeah, genres are just kind of like they're not rule books. They're kind of like it's kind of like an artistic description. It's like
Yeah.
of a sound. Like it's trying to like dance architecture basically. So it's I but sometimes people take this dancing to architecture as a series of rules you have to follow, where it's like, yeah, no, you can't have clean singing for this genre, but you can have it for this one, it's fine, or for the ambient song, and you have to have this political ideology and so on, and you have to dress like this, and it's I don't know, like it just ends up with that's how you end up with the same band over and over again. Um, it's like why most music sucks.
Yeah,
You have to sift through it to get to the good stuff.
exactly.
Um, but that's also kind of like yeah, I think also being an experimental artist, there is less space for you. Like I don't like you get nominated for less awards. What are they going to put you in like
Yeah.
category for like that they don't may not even find you where in
Your
Australia you have a lot of
words
government
fucking
grants for
suck.
music. Yeah, I
Like
got
all
nominated for one
awards.
for Origin, and I didn't win it. I lost to a band that sounded like Opeth, and
Yeah,
it's kind of like
makes sense.
it's
Talk
not
shit.
it's going to be more accessible. Like
Yeah.
it sounds fine. I guess like I like Opeth. I love Blackwater Park's one of my favorite records, in fact. But like, um, but yeah,
I
it
was
was just
gonna
kind of
say
like
that would be talking to you Uboa episode 2 where we say we're gonna talk about Opeth. That because Matt
yeah.
everybody in here is so into Opeth, and I've tried. I want to like them because I love them, but they're way more into it than me. They're way more
I got
into
in.
it.
They were the first kind of proper metal band I got into when I was like 11. Was I think Blackwater Park came out in 2001.
Yeah.
So that's when I got into them, was when that was released. And I got into it via Kazaa. I was like interested in getting into death metal, and I just went on Kazaa and typed in death metal and got Bleak by Blackwater Park, which is like one of my favorite songs,
Mm-hmm.
and a song from Whisper Supremacy by Cryptopsy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Cryptopsy, are fucking sick. I saw them when I was like
Pubsy
14
is so
with Lord
good.
Worm, and Lord Worm had worms in his he had a jar of worms, and it was an all ages underage show, and he fed the worms to the audience of underage kids.
Oh
Live
hell yeah.
earthworms. Yeah, and I was like, this is sick. I should have worn earplugs, but this is gonna be my life now. Like
What
Yeah.
like
is Kazar? What is that?
like Napster,
Oh,
like
okay.
Or like
LimeWire.
Gotcha.
It
SoulSeek.
was yeah, Soulseek,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I had
Yeah.
one called Win Mix that like me and my friend and I don't think anybody else had, but that was our I remember downloading individual Opeth songs in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Black Rose Immortal took like 3 or 4 hours to download. This is 20 minutes long. What's going on?
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, well, I think Bleak was only 9 minutes. And I was like,
Bleak is
wow,
my
that's so
favorite track
long.
on
And
Wild Wild West. It's amazing.
it's incredible. Like, it's just incredible singing. It's Porcupine Tree's best work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and best production. And like the production is still top notch to this day.
Mhm.
And the songwriting is just like, oh my God, I just want to go into a forest full of vines and fog and have a
So
corset.
you mentioned earlier about the way Kayo Dot writes without riffs. I posted on Facebook a few years back about like why songwriting is so hard for me personally is because my three biggest influences are Cult of Luna, who will play a riff for 4 minutes straight,
Yep.
Opeth, who will play a riff 4 times and then never again, and Kayo Dot, who won't play a riff. So, like, how do I? What am I supposed to write?
What's
with all
the
of this?
Venn diagram in the middle? What's there?
No.
Well, that's how I get it. I have the same influences, and how I get around it is by not playing guitar much. Like, I'm primarily a guitarist. That was the thing I have played for 24 years
Mhm.
is guitar, and it barely shows up. And when in Boa releases, it shows up at most playing a basic power chord structure and acts as a synth or a bass line,
Mm.
um, minus the gent riff, which I can play. It just won't sound as good. Like, it won't sound as tight live because I don't want to get an axe effects. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But like there is like, yeah, I think like that's the problem I bumped into when composing. It was like my early doom metal stuff. How I got around it was copying kind of and just improvising, and then trying to copy the improvisation, and
Mm.
then kind of semi planning when the improvisation's going, and to keep it kind of quote unquote through composed. But I don't know what it's improvisation a lot of the time. But like a improvisation that becomes a composition by putting things over it, which is
Yeah.
kind of one of the main ways it's how I did Golden Flower. It's how I did like Faflates. Most of the origin is like either improvisations or just layers and just pure Ableton, which is wasn't planning on playing it live, and now I fucking have to, and it's fun without tempos. Uh, like I don't have, yeah, but like that's how I got around it. Is I was just like, okay, like everything time I pick up my guitar, I have certain like uh, habits that I do
Yeah.
of different things. Like I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna have to like, here's the clean tone, here's the standard heavy section, and you start automatically either think in terms of riffs or improvisation, and but you base everything around the guitar. That's the problem I ran into is like, okay, I'm using the guitar to write everything, and I just end up with guitar music, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I want to see what other sounds I can get, especially after bumping into like ambient noise stuff and just like yeah, like other genres, I guess. And like how I got around it is like not using guitar for like entire records and doing other things, but like other instruments, especially instruments I wasn't familiar with,
Mhm.
and playing them, and often just improvising on them. But like, and then having to commit to that improvisation because it's recorded and make a song around it and edit it, and like, oh, that wrong note, well, that's actually in the song now, and then I hold that wrong, drag it on, and it becomes its own section and stuff like that. But yeah, now I want to do guitars again because I haven't. I'm like the I've got Uboa's now kind of. We've got a band, or I've got a band. I'm of
So
a with a bassist and a drummer, and we're adding guitars to parts and bass and everything to parts that didn't have those before to change it up a bit for live. And it's kind of like now that I'm bored from not doing guitar, I'm doing a guitar again because it's like this is the thing I know the most. Like, but yeah, I guess like when you have contradictory influences, you have to get another one. Like you have to just add another influence and like okay, and then like go from the side. Like imagine trying to recreate a Kayo Dot song like or something composed like that without any of the instrument, like all like synths and field recordings and
Mhm.
like I don't know, like a different vocal style or something. And yeah, like which is kind of what I do a lot of the time with composing things. Like it's kind of like, yeah, this is a post metal song, but it's also lacking any guitar.
Yeah.
Like I think my EP, The Flesh of the World, was me listening to a post-metal screamo band, Suffocate for fuck's sake, which is one of my
Classic.
love that record. I love there's
Classic, dude.
yeah, like there's a blazing fires on the front of the newspaper. There's a war going on. I'm
Yeah,
marching in my
yeah,
heavy
yeah.
boots. um,
Yeah.
and I was listening to that. I was like, what if there was no guitars and you replaced it all with synths? And that's my interpretation of it. And I can't play synth very well. It's mostly arpeggios. But then I kept the drums as a normal drum kit. And then if I was going to play it now, I'd have to add guitars back in. And like, yeah, a lot of the stuff I do is like if you had post metal and got rid of all the metal elements. Like Golden Flower for me is like if Godspeed or like ISIS did a song with, but it's one of their ambient only songs, and then you replaced all the post metal parts, but then you also add them back in, but the guitars are low in the mix, and then you have Lane over here, and like then there's like rain sounds and shit. Like like it's kind of that's the problem I ran into, and how I did all the music I do now is me trying to work around it by going like I'm a guitarist and I don't play guitar, but I really want
Mm.
to, but I need a I'm resisting the urge, and now I'm adding guitar back in again. And I find that actually doing basic things helps, like taking the focus away from guitar. Which I guess Kayo Dot do as well, because they have releases without. I think guitar is just one of many instruments in a lot of their songs. I think less in the newer ones where they have a consistent lineup, rather than kind of like an orchestral chamber thing happening. But they have just like rock instruments and synth
Well, that's kind of
build
an
stuff.
anarcho-communist approach too. Like
Kinda.
it's not like the guitar is the authoritarian figure. Like
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know. I think of it in not as like any kind of political way. I just think of it as like I'm bored. I like
I
I
was
need
uh
I need dopamine.
I was curious. You said something in the like right when we started talking about trying to get like a sharper attack on guitar using Ableton. Do you track guitar in Ableton for the Uboa stuff? Because
Um,
because I use Ableton for electronic music and I use Reaper for
mm,
metal stuff. And so I'm curious to hear just some of the techniques that another Ableton head is using to make music that sounds that good, because I'm curious. Like everyone uses it so differently.
I just use Ableton as a default DAW. I don't see it. It's about as good as Cubase at doing the same thing. But I also, considering when I do make heavy stuff, it's always industrial tinged.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's kind of, but I don't want to fork out and learn like, or not relearn, because if you know one DAW, you can
yeah,
you go to another one fairly easily.
yeah,
But it just does more than say Pro Tools. Pro Tools has all
yeah,
this fancy hyper professional shit that I don't deal with. I also Impossible Layout was also co-produced with Blood of the Pomegranate. So like with that, they actually like like with that song, like she actually like added like the gent riffs and
mm,
um like and she couldn't get enough attack with them, so she added first the guitar and it's like, no, it's not enough. So then turned the guitar into a sampler
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
get the down
yeah,
for it to
yeah,
cut
yeah,
through the mix. It was just we had a problem with the mix is already too dense because it's all my songs have way too many layers. And all those
yeah,
layers often do frequency masking because it's noise. Like,
of course.
it's the hardest music to mix. And like yeah, so that was we had a problem and that was a solution. And I didn't even know. She just added that and I was like, that's sick as hell, keep that, right? And I still think it's sick as hell. Like I just keep saying, yeah, there's a random gent riff when you don't expect it. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's one of our genius moments. So like I think with yeah, Ableton like it forces me to not think in the metal box.
of course.
Place myself out of the metal and rock box because I have all these like cool like granular synthesis and like
Yeah,
samplers of literally anything and like all these synths and stuff around me and like making like I can make noise just through my laptop and nothing else by using the laptop microphone
Yeah.
and then processing 40,000 layers with LFOs that change constantly to make noise, and then do that in bed because I'm
Yeah.
lazy and burnt out and don't
Of
want to
course.
move, and then record it as a sample, then use that sample later and build something out of it. There's no kind of you can just kind of follow your heart in that way. I don't see it, yeah, like with recording guitars, it's just like when I do proper guitars, like guitars, like mic up an amp, or more rarely use a virtual um, instrument. I use those less because I do droning feedback, and virtual
Yeah.
instruments are not great at that.
Yeah.
I just have an SM57 in front of my amp, um,
Yeah.
and then just plug it straight in, and then layer it, and then do every fucking thing to make it as heavy as possible. Um, and often use octaves. Often may swap out the bass for a bass synth, so it can have more high end. Like an Angel Great and Terrible Light has a bass synth instead of a bass guitar in the recorded version, which is why it sounds so wide, because that
Do
is
you
a
have any
stereo bass synth.
like favorite synths or synths that you used a ton on Impossible Light?
Um, well, the synth I used for a lot of it. I was a Minilog XL, which
Okay.
wasn't mine. I stole it from someone who was a bit of a con to me, and eventually I had to give it back. But I not
Sure.
before doing most of Impossible Light and the Origin and Sky Maybe and everything with it. But a con to me was a bit transphobic, so I was like, you know. Currently this is my synth, which is a Hydra synth. ASM Hydra synth. It's
Fuck
just
yeah.
Hydra synth key. I use a lot of
Sick.
Digitone. I still have the original, but I want to upgrade the Digitone to a Digitone 2. I prefer digital synthesis for a lot of what I do, but I kind of
Yeah.
having the itch to get another analog. But the Hydra synth can also replicate analog pretty well because it's not just an FM synth, it's just like 40 trillion things. And this only appeared because Impossible Light I've been working on since 2017.
Mm.
So it took 7 years to get out there. And back then it was just a mini log, and then when I finished things off towards 2003, 2004, I think I used the Hydra synth for the bass line in Golden Flower in the first part. Um, and that's the only time it appears. It appears more in future music, the stuff that
Gotcha.
hasn't been released yet. And Digitone, pretty similar. And then there's a lot of layers that, a lot of pomegranate ashtik she added in, like the drone in beginning of Patent Screamers, which was her edition. And then a lot of the drones are things that are not synths. They're just kind of like samples that are pull stretched or
Yeah.
whatever, like from various sources. So um, because they're more texturally interesting when you don't just use synths, because there's some textures that you have to put in 40 LFOs to get the synth.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, those are kind of the main ones I kind of use. And yeah, lots of Ableton samplers. So like sampling my own voice, going the la la, or my friend Sam's voice for those songs. Lots of Koto-esque and zither sounds. Some of it is a real zither. Where's it gone?
What?
I have it around here. Oh, it's the other side of the room, but I have a, hang on. I'll find it for you.
So
That's
cool.
so sick.
Here we go. So this is the zither I used because people kept saying it was a koto. It's not a koto. It's actually an American instrument. Which is yeah, my friend Luke, I found this in a house.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
when they
Cool.
moved in, and they just gave it to me. It's like, you think you could get something out of it, and then this is in the Origin. It's in Possible Light. It's in less new things because I didn't want to rely upon it as a crutch. But like, and I got a new zither I found at a secondhand store, which has it looks more like a dulcimer. But
The zither is cool, but does it gent?
Play it with a pick.
We don't hear it.
Clip the mic.
bit of attack. So maybe like I don't know what my picks are near my guitars on the other side of the grinding flat. Like,
Can you play
but I guess it
Bleed?
just play bleed. Fuck. You can't really pick it that fast, like
Yeah.
because it's like because it's open on it. Like you can play it slow. No, you can't bend it.
Awesome.
You can't bend the note. So choirs of the eye, like
Yeah, back to well, I was thinking, of albums off the top of my head that kind of relate to that. I think style of composition and all that. It's three albums from that year, from 2024.
Mm.
And I just want to have like a quick reaction if you like it or think anything of it,
Hmm.
or of the band, or anyone can react to that. If you don't know the band or the album, it's cool. I'm gonna start with the Violent Magic Orchestra album.
Oh, is that the? I think I briefly listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is sick. I like what is it? Oh, the one with the face. Something deluxe. Oh, what's it called? Like, oh, I'm
I'm not a
so
big
bad.
like I'm not
VMO.
a scholar on Ma Violent Magic Orchestra.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm terrible at remembering names. I often forget the names of my own songs. Um, yeah, I think I liked it quite a bit. I need to listen to it more. I only listened to it once and not a deep listen, but I was like, that's sick. Um, yeah, like yeah, I just think they're sick. Um, I think the Gabba and Death Rave is the new one. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Gabba, oh, Catastrophic Anonymous, that's the one. Yep. Is the one I was thinking about. I like the Gabba and hardcore techno influences with weird compositional structures, and yeah, I think it's cool. It's not much to other than that. I'd have to sit down and properly listen to it, which
oh
oh
yeah.
God, I've been so exhausted. So yeah. But
Okay, next one is the new Fire Tools album.
oh, is that the EP? What's she done? Like, I love every Fire Tools record.
Yeah.
She's really she's yeah, bit of an influence. And her noise, yeah, I remember listening. Yeah, the EP. Um, she had noise sections on it that I thought were yeah. I was thinking of like I think I Am Upset because I see something. No, I think it's one of those ones. Um,
It's
and
Breeze, right?
Breeze. I have not listened to that one yet. I didn't know she
Okay.
had a new one. I think I must have just been in a. I think I talked to her. I'm just like, damn it, I just missed. I'm gonna have to sit down and listen to it because yeah, everything she does is gold. But like the EP I did listen to her previously. I remember she posted a meme on Instagram. It was just like everyone's ignoring the noise parts, and I'm like, no, the noise parts were sick. Like the granular synthesis noise things that she's been adding in. I'm like, yeah, that's sick. Yeah, so I have to sit down and listen to it. I'll get it on Bandcamp
I
and listen
think
to it.
Matt knows her, right?
Yeah. I my last Patmos Atoimos album was mixed by Angel because I sent her early demos and she was like,
Mm.
I love what you're doing and this sounds horrible. Please let me fix it. And so she mixed it all out.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
I
sick.
can make this sound like you want it to sound. Okay, please
yeah.
go for it.
She was the kind of one of the candidates, one of the few people going to ask to master Impossible Light. We went with Lawrence instead because he is in Australia. So it'd just be easier to talk to at time because I'm often asleep when Americans are awake. And you know, but like, yeah, I just bought it. But her music is fantastic. I'll probably get her to master something in the future because, and like, yeah, she's a very, very talented sound designer and sound engineer, and like nothing but positive things to say about Fire Tools. So yeah, um, yeah,
Awesome. Last one I had off the top of my head is Violet Pony.
I love Violet
Monster
Pony
thing,
so
the
much.
Monster album.
Yes,
Monarch of
that's what I'm.
Monsters.
Monarch of Monsters. Yeah, like her last record was fucking beautiful. But this new one with the Swans influence, where it's kind of like if you had Glowing Man or like To Be Kind, but from a MLP perspective, but it's also her own universe, her own fictional. She's taken a lot of artistic liberties and got a whole story, a very traumatic
Yeah.
story about like, mental health issues and stuff like that. Um, it's incredible. I love it. I listened to it on the plane recently when I was coming back from a holiday and Jesus Christ, like those she really kind of really found a great way of kind of twisting some of those Swan style compositional structures to something kind of cutesy, internety, nerdy, but so emotionally potent, right? Um, yeah, like I love her music. It's she's so talented. She's an incredible vocalist as well. Like
Hmm. Yeah,
great,
totally.
incredible sound designer and producer. Like I'm always taking notes from her her mixes and her techniques and stuff. Like, um, yeah, it's fantastic. It's yeah, it's one of the best records of last year, and it gets slept on
So
because I
good.
think of the like because a lot of that nerd culture music, say a lot of breakcore stuff gets slept on, like from mainstream press for a similar way, because it's very much around online kind of queer and neurodivergent communities, furry communities, which usually mostly one or the other, usually both, and MLP, all those kind of fandom communities as well. They often get neglected as low art, um, unfairly. Um, and like as a nerd, I think you pointed out when you were talking about it last time, so it was like someone called you a nerd on a podcast. I'm like, what? That's true, but like because I was like talking about Doom mods and shit, but I come from that background of like, of like nerdy online worlds. A lot of queer people and neurodivergent people do, right? Um, and I see like often media ignore it when you have someone as talented as Violet Pony, like supernaturally talented.
Yeah.
She's quite young too. Like it's same similar deal with Suicide and Synthony, right? Or someone else in her, and she's one of the most talented and electronic artists. She's up there with Aphex Twin, as far as I'm concerned. Um, get ignored. There's often lots of drama online. Most of it's bullshit. And especially
I
when you
mean,
have trans women involved,
it's
it's often, you
yeah,
know,
it's incredible because she's doing like all this electronic music, and this album is like a prog rock album, but
yeah,
like super weird and dark. And
yep,
I posted after listening to that album that it sometimes made me think of uh, um like an unused song from Francis the Mute
hmm. I don't
Damn.
think I've heard them.
of Mars Volta.
Yeah, Mars
I
Volta.
never liked Mars Volta.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
No,
gosh. In
no.
in the podcast.
No. I never really liked them or listened to them much. I just kind of, I don't know. It
I
wasn't
kind
my,
of only
I
like
respect
Francis.
them.
Everything else is like, yeah, it's fine, but like Francis the Mute's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's their
I,
best for sure.
I might try and get into it, but like it's, if I have time ever, but like, I just think it was like, I was like, yeah, this is compositionally brilliant, but the vibe is not mine. I kind of preferred Battles when it came to that specific kind of weird prog rock. Um, because Battles had the really minimalist, jittery sound, whereas the Mars Volta, I don't know, something. I guess because when I got it, people in when I was a teenager tried to get me into them. I'd already discovered like crazier stuff, but like heavier, crazier stuff as opposed to kind of kind of more like I guess sassy
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't know. Maybe I was too harsh. I don't know. I just I kind of just skipped it.
There's kind
But
of there's kind of a like an ongoing joke between us that like the Mars Volta is our that's where like all of our tastes kind of meet. And so I have to
mm,
ask, with you saying you don't really like Mars Volta, do you like Coheed and Cambria? Okay,
no,
thank you. Thank God.
thank you. You're welcome. I don't like them. No, it's no. It just struck me as like I heard one song and I was like, I guess this is pretty emotional, but I also didn't. I don't know. The vibe was off, and it's not like anything. It's just more me, my opinion. It's not. They're clearly very talented, and extremely good musicians. It's just like not for me. So I'm not
Well,
gonna say it
Ignored
sucks,
music.
but it's good. But it's
now
not
I'm
for me.
curious, just trying to like whittle down the taste. Circus Survive. Do you like Circus Survive?
I didn't listen to it much. What I heard, I liked,
Okay. Okay.
but I didn't listen to it much. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think my
Gotcha.
favorite of that kind of post-hardcore, prog hardcore was Moving Mountains. And I got into that much later. I think it was Numa, where they had that kind of same post-hardcore, post prog hardcore vibe. Are
Never
these
heard of
Arms
that
of
one.
Snakes as well? Same with yeah.
Xandra Snakes is good as fuck. Okay.
It's very yeah, I listen to things weirdly because like I just kind of often yeah, I just get very autistic about the very specific things I listen to and then just ignore the social context around and just focus on it. It's kind of why my taste is a little eclectic. So, because I just like don't. I'm involved in scenes now, like my local kind of like do I like metally weird noise punk scene, but like I don't. That's after I've done my personal development. Like back then, I had like my handful of friends, we all had different tastes, and like I would just get into my super specific weird things and just listen to like one record over and over again. So I'd listen to Choirs of the Eye, listen to This Schizophrenic Decaying Christ Complex by Koresh, listen to Within the Video by The End, like, and just hyper focus on them and then move to a new thing. And you just ignore similar bands
Yeah.
sometimes. But sometimes I didn't. It's like I just, and then I would forget. Like I wouldn't listen to everything. Um, listen to anything, but not everything, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm also one of the few people who doesn't listen to pop even in my 30s. Like I there's artists I respect, like Britney Spears, Ethel Cairns before she became a noise artist,
Horrifying.
or became a noise artist under the Ethel Cain name because she did stuff under Ashmedai, which is incredible. Um, and yeah, a few others I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just don't like. I grew up. Hear pop music everywhere. It's background sound to me a lot of the
Melbourne's
time.
own Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, well, isn't she from? She's Australian.
Yeah, she's from Melbourne.
She's from Melbourne. I like a song Nick Cave, "Where the Wild Roses Grow." That's a cute song, but that's kind of more of a goth ballad than a pop song.
Outside her
Um,
normal oeuvre.
yeah, I like. It's not that I hate pop. Or I like some things I listen to, and like, oh, that's a catchy thing, but I don't really that interested in it. Um, it's just not for me, I guess, because I like the compositional and sound design aspects of music the most, like the textures and the weird things that happen and the adventure of it. I listen to music like I watch a movie. So yeah, I that's probably why I don't really dive into it quite as much. So unless it's weird pop or like something that's barely it's technically pop, but it isn't like hyper pop, where I like yeah, like Sophie and 100 Gex and everything, but like it's I don't really put that in the same category. So, but I don't like Charlie XCX. Um, I still
Thought
haven't
Brat
listened
was
to Brat.
overrated. I'm gonna get canceled for that, but
I don't. I
Yeah,
like the
I
only.
tried to get it, and I'm like, I can't.
I briefly heard some of it, and I was like, no. After the Kamala Harris's Brat tweet, I can't deal with this. I'm sorry. Like you've got like okay, we've got the two pop artists. You got the trans one, the cis one. The cis one's going like, oh yeah, Kamala Harris's Brat, and the trans one is we need to bring back assassinations. Like I know
Yeah.
which one I'm gonna fuck with more. Like it's just
Are
kind of like
you are you Brad?
no, 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 I like Sophie's production and some of her old work, but I don't really have any. I don't like her music. Like it's just not for me. I'm pretty sure it's well done. She's good at what she does, but like no, I like Sophie's music when it's like the loudest sound imaginable, and then like a bubble popping,
Yeah.
and then like a pitch shifted voice, and then like a kick drum that sounds like a resonating star.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of sound design candy. Like, but I guess that's because I listen to music in this very kind of like, I guess like neurodivergent way where I don't really listen to music as a social thing. It's not really kind of. I think a lot of pop and dance music and a lot of the genres I kind of skipped over and kind of like the less experimental hip hop. Um, like experimental hip hop I fucking love, but like it's the stuff when it's just kind of more social based. Like
Yeah.
it's about dancing around or singing in chorus together with someone, participating in a some kind of social scene or like movement or whatever, um, then it's kind of like I'm not really into music for that. It's not saying it's wrong, it's just not for my brain. I kind of more like that's a cool sound, how did you do that? Or like that's a really well done guitar thingy, or like this
We're just
composition's really interesting, right? Like
we're just
again,
antisocial people.
I'm I'm not antisocial. I'm kind of I just have my own way of doing it. I burn out if I'm socializing too much. Like I have to be careful at gigs when I play. A lot of people try and talk to me at once, and I'm like I'm anxious because I'm about to play. And everyone's gonna film it. And like uh yeah, I prefer to communicate with a small amount of people in a room rather than I also have very terrible auditory processing. So if I'm at a party, I can't hear anything. I just hear everything at once without any filtering.
Yeah.
This is great for mixing though, because I don't just hear, it's why the vocals are so low in the mix and every instrument's kind of even. So I hear all the mix at once. I don't focus on the vocals with background music, which I think some holistic people often are trained to do culturally. Maybe less so those with a classical training or a metal background, but like a lot of people come into music thinking it's just all basically descended from folk music. It's just music. It's just singing with backing, or it's a way of primary vocal communication. Whereas I I remember like someone pointing out, it's like to me, it's just getting. Why do you listen to like death metal and grindcore? How can you tell what they're saying? It's like you can tell like what anyone's saying. Like what? Like I don't know what they're saying on the radio. I get the lyrics wrong all the time. Like, can you tell what fucking Nirvana are saying? Like, no one can tell that. But like, can you tell what I can't tell what anyone's saying? And if pop music's about that centrally, and so is a lot of kind of like hip hop where the sound design isn't central to the show. Like, I have to have a lyric sheet. I have to have a lyric sheet for my own music. I can't hear what I'm saying. And that's why it's not very important in my music. And then people go, "Wow, that's like shoegaze," and I'm like, "No, it's just how I hear things. It's actually just my neurology, because I don't have hearing damage. It's just a processing, auditory processing
Have the
thing."
shoegaze syndrome.
Yeah, it's everything is like sounds like fucking Loveless all the time. It's like whether you like it or not. I love Loveless,
Maybe
but I don't
maybe
want it
you'll
all the time.
maybe you'll feel like maybe you'll shine or feel really like comfortable getting back into the grind thing, because I mean I play bass and like do vocals in a grind band, and if I don't remember the vocals, like the lyrics, as long as it just kind of rhythmically
Yeah,
sounds like I'm doing the right thing, then that's
yeah.
fine. I mean, like, whenever I play a show and if I've felt nervous, I just remind myself like these people didn't write the song. They have no idea what the fuck. The song's like a minute long. They don't know. So yeah,
They
I
don't
could
know with
have
me either. They don't know. Like most of my
Exactly.
yeah,
every single show I played, for from 2016 to 2022, was entirely improvised. I didn't learn
yeah,
any of my songs, and I would either come in with some on notes, just some lyrics, or just go raw, blah, and just
yeah.
let the emotion come out without just kind of like primal scream therapy, right? And now I have to learn like my own lyrics after doing
That
that for so
sucks.
long.
That
Yeah.
Um,
sucks.
Yeah,
it
I get it.
sucks.
That sucks.
I don't want to have to deal with that shit, but I have to because it's me, it's my music. So like,
Can you
um,
just hire someone?
I don't know. Like people want to hear my voice. I'm not even the best singer. I didn't start singing until I was like 22 years old because I was so anxious. I was so kind of like withdrawn. And my voice is a weird range. Like I have the Brian Molko range. And like I'm pretty okay with it now, but I used to be very self-conscious when I was making like heavy music when I was younger, and I have this like high-pitched voice, like, and it's like, yeah, it's so I didn't I don't I only started getting singing lessons recently, and then unfortunately my singing teacher coach had a family issue, poor thing, and like I haven't been able to do that. I have to be self-teach a lot, but it's like, yeah, now I'm not used to that. Have terrible ADHD. I'm terrible at remembering things. And my own lyrics are boring to me once I've finished writing them. I'm interested in making them. Sometimes it's my
Yeah.
least favorite part of the process. I hate writing lyrics. I don't have to do it because it's just like having vocals in my music just makes it feel like when the song needs vocals, it needs vocals, right? But
Yeah.
like it's just all the time it's just like, oh
There's
no,
this
I don't.
bizarre phenomenon either when you've improvised something or you just wrote it and then like forgot about it for a while and then you circle back
Mm.
to like record it again or learn it for live and it's like I feel like I'm covering myself. I don't feel like
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
remembering something I wrote. It's like this I'm
Yeah.
learning this song for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because none of my things I write were intended to be played live originally.
Yeah.
Like I just compose like, oh, what's gonna sound cool? I just treat recordings not as a representative of live situation, but its
Yeah.
own autonomous work, right? Because well, people aren't gonna know if it's played live or not. It's their enjoyment's gonna come from the intrinsic enjoyment of the work. Um, and because of that, I was just like, a lot of them were improvisations that turned into songs later. Um, or were like recorded either multi-track or with a field recorder, and then I add layers on top of it later, which is most the Origin and Sky Maybe were done that way with a few songs like an Angel. Like Misspent Youth was one. It was an improvised piano recording edit with layers added and edited. Um, and yeah, like some Impossible Lights, like that Golden Flower was improvised originally as a composition, and then started editing it, and then added four people in it, and then it's over 7 years it mutated. Um, and same with Bafflate, same with Jawline, same with Pattern Screamers to a certain degree, but like, um, yeah, like it's just kind of I wasn't expecting to remember that. I wasn't even expecting people to want me to play them live because I was like no one knew me 7 years ago, or
Mhm.
even like I was just in my bedroom, like depressed as all fuck, like just not intending to live to the age I currently am. Um, and now suddenly things have flipped around and I have to learn it and become a proper musician, and cover
So
myself.
annoying. Yeah.
And it's also kind of got an upside though. The upside is improvising every single set is unbelievably fucking stressful. Especially you have
Mm.
like a table full of gear, half of it's a laptop gear, and they can just freeze on you. This thing could break, you could forget to bring a cable. It takes forever to
Yeah.
set up and take
You got the
down. And
cracked arteria sense. It's crashing on you.
yeah, I do not. I have to buy my gear now. I
Yeah.
set aside. I don't. I use a lot mostly Ableton default things, but when I buy things, I buy them because
Yeah.
not because I necessarily always support the company. Sometimes I do, but
Yeah.
mostly because I do not want it to break.
Yeah. Need it to
Um,
work.
yeah, especially live. And I'm just doing that thing. It's so stressful because you don't know where it's going. You don't know if a thing's going to happen or if your mic's going to feedback crazy because of the acoustics of the room, especially if you have heaps of reverb and distortion on it already and you're trying to clean sync and then scream afterwards into the same mic and
Yeah.
you're your own mixer because who is going to mix you in Ableton other than you? And then you've got all this hardware going into Ableton and then you've got lag and then all this shit happens while improvising. Or you can deal with some of that stuff spread over several people, learning the same song over and over again and get, you know, the routine. You can practice the same thing over and over again. You can have actually try and remember lyrics. You take away, and you still have enough improvisation that you don't get bored. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm kind of enjoying actually playing the same thing over and over again, practicing for tour with the band. And it's like, damn, I should have done this earlier. This is almost as if why this is the default.
Yeah.
And I got the idea from I think John Wisey, where it was like from Sissy Spacek, and he would play of his solo stuff. Very incredible noise artist. Every single set would be completely. He would make up a set beforehand and then play it. Like he
Yeah.
would choose the gear, like compose it, which is what I did. I'd make a new graphic score comp thing like this. A lot of my graphic scores look like just insanity, especially
Oh.
because of my childlike neurodivergent handwriting, and would do that every show. And then I just like after Roadburn, where I had to like compose compose two sets from scratch and play them for the first time. One of them, like I got practice a lot more than the other, and I guess I kind of did play it. And then I have to play a record that I've never played before, um,
Mhm.
which is trauma dumping. It is basically a suicide note. And I don't want to play it ever again because of that. Um, that was incredibly difficult. It was rewarding and I learned a lot, but it was just difficult. But like actually playing the same song over and over again, it's not all bad. It's better than the alternative. Um, Especially if you can switch between it. You know, practicing the same thing over and over again, and then having a bit of the surprise of improvisation, kind of like, you know, Swans Rhinestezender have. Like, um, I think that's the sweet spot. I still will probably in the future maybe do solo sets where I just improvise noise because it is like I do on my Patreon and I'm gonna do another one soon. These things called noise diaries where I just set up like an Ableton session, a bunch of hardware and stuff, and just improvise and bake it down instantly. Like don't have any changes I have to do after they're baked down to a stereo wave file and then maybe add a few things, maybe not, and then just post them on Patreon as this kind of like, this is how I'm feeling this day. And this is so much, it's the opposite of, say, what I usually do, which is 100 layers, the computer's overheating, there's too many fucking things I have to do figure out frequency masking or whoever's mixing it, and then have to figure out lyrics, and then there's just all this. It's like, I don't know, it's like working on a skyscraper. Or I can just do this kind of more like impulsive thing. And I found I quite enjoyed it a bit until like, but I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to do that all the time anymore because it's like so many things can go wrong. When you bake it down, you see it's like playing live and you can hear all the mistakes. Like suddenly something's too loud and you turn it down quickly because you realize how too loud it
Yeah.
is, and that's baked in forever. Or you sing a bum note because you haven't sung the note before because it's a made up song. That's in there forever, and you have to either cover it up or just deal with it. Um, and that's stressful. That's fucking stressful. So I'm so glad to have a band backing me up.
Did you say that some of those are already on the Patreon, like, or it's something you want to do?
And
Are
I've
you
done about five. I've done a kind of a small record's worth already. I'm gonna do more. Um,
are you uploading
and
the sessions?
yeah, they're there. They're
Oh
behind a
my
paywall
gosh.
because it's how I
No, I
help
subscribed to
pay
it.
my
I
rent.
subscribed to it
Yeah.
the other like a week ago, and
Oh, thank you.
that's
Thank you
so
so much.
sick.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
sick.
under Noise Diary. I've tried to organize things. I'm bad at organizing. Who'd have thought an ADHD person's bad at organizing? But like, there is the Noise Diary thing, and they're exclusive to
That is
Patreon for
so
the time
sick.
being. And I'm gonna do some more because they're fun. They're also good, you know, practice as
Yeah,
well as just like it's just good to do a song in a day. It's one of the magical things about noise and ambient and other improvisational things. And it's sometimes good to just do something quick. But then again, I did an angel. It was great and terrible. I wrote that in a day. Uh, and that's quite it's other than the same chord progression over and over again. It's sound design very dense and complicated. And they just came out in a day. And often the things that take the least amount of effort um don't take as long. Like Golden Flower didn't take much effort. Like it was an improvisation. I polished it off a bit, and then the Ote only added her incredible vocals over it, and then added a few other things, and Halo as well, and Charlie. Um, but like, yeah, sometimes effort doesn't necessarily mean quality. Um, is an important thing to know.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can overthink it.
mhm.
Um, to the point of like it becoming kind of shit again, and then you
Yeah.
can have to think about it more to make it good again. Which happened to like the other half of the song's Impossible Light, which is one of the reasons it took so long, and the fact I wasn't a good enough sound engineer to do all of that myself when I started doing it. I'm much better after learning the process with Astic, but like yeah, it's just like yeah, like I've been doing that for I think there's like five songs on there, and I'm
That's awesome.
working
I
more of that
didn't
stuff.
realize that. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna do more.
do you watch Ned Rush's YouTube videos?
No, Mid
He's
Rush.
just yeah, Ned Rush. He's my favorite like Ableton guy.
Wait,
And
sounds familiar.
he's I he's got a Discord and like a Patreon, but his Patreon is really good. I mean, he's like of all the people who there's like the YouTube music instructor sphere, and they've all got a
Yeah,
Patreon and they've all got a Discord.
it's the
He's
only way you
just
can
this
get
like
money.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But he's just like this pasty British guy who has made like drum and bass and acid music for a super long time, and
Mm,
every time he uploads something it makes me feel like I do not understand how to use Ableton at all. And
no one does.
yeah, for real.
It's
uh
esoteric.
yeah,
I'm I'm pretty confident in it. I'm gonna be teaching it unofficially, I guess, soon. At University of Florida from Zoom because I can't be in the state and I will be killed there. Um, and for doing commission composition for them, and I'll be teaching aspects of it.
that's
And
so sick.
like it's yeah, it's cool, but I'm just kind of like I don't fully understand every aspect of Ableton. There's entire plugins I've barely used because they're not really
Yeah,
relevant to what I do, or they kind of like deprecated by a better plugin. Like why use the
yeah,
overdrive when you got the saturator? Like
yeah, of
I
Well,
don't
course.
know,
I don't think
or like
any teacher is like 100% like in
yeah,
control of everything, you know?
You're like,
exactly.
here's my favorite Ableton
Yeah.
device. It is the limiter. we're gonna put that on first. Because
Yes.
every sound that we're about to make, if we don't have it, we will die. Our head will get blown off.
Oh, don't I used to limit things and compress things first. I had to unlearn that because then you squish everything because you're
Yeah,
like,
of
yeah, I'm
course.
not gonna have it. I'm not gonna gain stage. I don't need a gain stage.
Yeah,
Who fucking needs the gain stage? And then you can't hear
right.
entire instruments. And then you have to undo it all, take off the limiter, and you see how distorted it is without it. And then you just have to gain stage if you're going to like hear for like as many layers as what I do, but as many layers as any metal band is going to do, really, especially with not layers, but like frequency density. Um,
Mm.
and
You
like
got a
it's just
budget.
yeah, you got a frequency budget because
Yeah,
like especially with say heavy guitars, they take up so much of the frequency spectrum. If you add bass, then that's and kicks and everything and cymbals, it takes up all of it. It's
yeah,
kind of like pink noise in that way. Definitely, obviously, the same with noise, and less so with other genres. But like, I guess so less so with ambient, where it's the opposite issue, where you get too much of a budget and you don't know how to fill it up. But like, um, it's kind of like it is interesting, but like Ableton is also kind of an instrument, not just a DAW,
yeah.
because it's like a modular synth with how it's same with Bitwig. I think FL is pretty similar as well. I haven't used FL in years, but like, um, where it's not it's you have like all the granulators and stuff and you can plug the granulator into the LFO and the LFO can also do like a fucking sweepy filter
Yeah.
and then just then you can tempo sync it and then whoa it's a full cool sound, it's so crazy, it's so ugh. um and like that's cool, is what I like about it. It's kind of like people say, oh, when are you getting to modular synth? It's like I got Ableton. I've
Yeah.
every time I've used the modular synth, they've crashed as much as Ableton as well, especially when it's like digital and like, and it's also none of it's stereo. And I'm a noise musician who does hard panning. Like I do
Mm,
cut up harsh noise. Like it's
mm,
a lot. It's kind of like I need stereo. It's also if you have a noise source, like a harsh noise source, and it's mono, it's not as heavy as stereo where it's in
yeah, of
surrounds
course.
you. It's like a white
You're a
noise
guitar
machine,
player.
literally.
Guitar player.
Yes, hard pan left and right, the heavy
Yeah.
riff. If you just have the bass one side and guitar on one side, which used to happen a lot in mixes, no, don't do that ever. Like, it's just I don't like that because you hear different frequencies one side and it has this similar effect to your ears popping on an airplane, um, and not intentionally. It's uncomfortable, but I
So
don't know. Like,
does that mean
yeah,
you do you dislike Yowie because of how have you listened to Yowie?
Yeah, we
yaoi
so
isn't
Oh,
like gay
I forget.
hentai.
Oh no, not that. That would probably be a different episode, but there is a just one of the most loved like uh I want to call it like old man math rock. Uh
Yaoi.
Yowie,
math rock.
what'd you say?
Old man math rock.
Yeah, like US Maple, or like Rodin or even like Don Cabs sorta. But
Oh
Yowie,
yeah.
uh super technical stuff, but it's always been a three piece. And for the longest time, it was like this weird. The bassist had
Oh yeah.
some fucked up guitar, almost like lightning bolt, where it's what even is
Mm.
the instrument anymore, and then guitar over there. But I was gonna bring that up because their transcriptions look like what you showed us. It's just no one could, it's incomprehensible to anybody else. Like the notation.
Oh, no, my
Yeah.
notation style is actually very simple. The line is how loud it is. Um,
There you go.
and then the rest is telling you what to do, literally. And then it might have like the chord progression or the harmony on it. And then
Well,
the rest is literally explained.
when you say it tells you what to do, I'm curious about that.
Oh, it says here. So it's like, okay, for this is it says intro, there's a bunch of love hearts, and then it says first pedal. Don't know which
Okay.
pedal.
Okay.
The
Okay.
first one,
It has low
whichever it is.
low drone story sample. This is from a composition I haven't recorded yet, which I played from my set with Liturgy. So there's a sample over it, a bit like Prowler in the Yard, Pig Destroyer, like a text
Okay.
to speech sample with some drones. Then there's sudden noise, so that means sudden jump scare.
Okay.
Um, then it changes from oh no, first pedal noise, and then which is one method where I just have hardware pedals noise contact mics go in to the computer directly. And then I have cut-ups, which are sample based using the grid. And then screams, I don't have lyrics there, I just said do screams. Then digitone drone, slowly reduced noise and has a gradient downwards, and then the harmony of F sharp D B, ambient bass drone comes in, and then
I like that
Benson lyrics.
it's written almost like a cookbook, like
Yeah.
like a recipe.
It's got sad and a bunch of unhappy faces here. It's just so sad. Like it's just like, oh yeah, sad and then unhappy face and pink. And then it says 3 minutes kind of with a dash next to it because it does not have to be exact. There's no way. And then I don't have the other side of that composition and that sheet
I
of
love
paper. Then it has some other things in the back.
I love the
So
idea of
yeah.
like you're trying to play this live, but you're like you didn't rehearse, you didn't practice, so you get to the part where it says to be sad, and you're like, "Fuck, I have to be sad." Okay,
Yeah.
it's sad now. I wasn't sad, but okay, be sad
Yeah.
now.
Oh, it just means I think it means this is where the minor chords come in. This is like
Okay.
I'm gonna be sad anyway.
Yeah.
But also I have Ableton color coded and organized via loops that also tells me what to do as a mnemonic. And I also have things written on my laptop. So I've got my own key bindings for like N means mute all, it doesn't stop
Okay.
loop. So it stops all the noise channels. We've got question mark, loop record, dash loop clear, B for beat repeat, because I'm not going to be using the pencil tool live. Which beat repeats the entire master track. So it goes
Cool. Yeah.
does the annoying sound. And like so I have lots of mnemonics on me to deal with the complexity. This is like a solo thing, but this is still like lots of improvisation happening because it just says noise. It doesn't say you can't notate noise other than like rhythmically, I guess, but like you can't really describe
Some
it.
stifling. You just
Yeah.
dot a lot of dots.
Oh, it's I kind of put I do spikes, like up and down spikes when there's a thing.
Okay.
When there's a rhythm, I pre-program it in when it's not me playing it, unless I want to improvise one play, and it's usually something simple. But sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is a wall of noise, so this is harsh noise wall, and this is cut up noise here, and this is soft noise that's kind of quietly in the background, and this stuff's low, this stuff's high. And then the rest is kind of up to is spur in the moment based on what I've put into Ableton and what my hardware is. Yeah, so there's a lot happening when it's just me, and this is a thing I would play just by myself. Like I don't know how I'd get the other two involved. Trying to when it's all in my head, and it's all like triggered or tempo triggered by like loops and stuff, and I don't know. I'd have to warn them with like, hey, you have to drum now. I can't tell you when. It'll be when I feel like it, and you have to know that feeling psychically. Which I guess if you jam a lot can happen. So who knows? But like, but yeah, it's just like because I can't read music because I'm a little not completely just weirdly in my own way just like musically dyslexic definitely. That's what I do instead, and it's like controlled improvisation, which is you know I got the idea kind of like listen to Swans, like the more recent records where it was like where they'll play The Glowing Man one time it'll be 40 minutes and another time it'll be 20 minutes and then there'll be a new part from another song added in and it's kind of like a plant in that way. It's very organic. Which means that when you play in front of an audience, people come in and it's like, I wonder what's going to happen this time. Wow, like it's new every time. And I'm like, what's going to happen this time? That's so anxiety inducing, but I guess I'm not going to get bored. I'm just going to have a panic attack. And have to breathe through it. And shaking visibly on stage, which I'm trying to reduce.
Speaking of it, Choirs of the Eye. Did they play it live?
Yeah, I haven't seen it live. They haven't played it
Are
in
they,
I
Australia.
got to see
do
it
they
last
keep,
September, or
uh,
not last, but a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
are they
jealous.
like, uh, do they play it like the album or?
No, they're very faithful to the album. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there's no improvising. It's very rigid and it's made, I think, to be played live because one of the things I love about this album is that it's so not grid snapped to like a click track. It breathes and it moves and everything is cued on like all the band members watching Toby. It's like, here's when we do the next hit. Here's when we do the next. It's so feel based. So it translates really well live.
It's like a conductor in an orchestra, really.
Exactly.
Like Yeah, it
We
also like
talked
Like how John Zorn does his stuff too.
totally.
He's always
We
like,
talked on a previous episode about like the difference between metal and jazz combined versus metal that has a saxophone playing on top of
yeah,
it. And Choirs of the Eye
mm,
is like the platonic ideal of this is metal from a jazz and classical compositional perspective. Like
mm.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it's instrumentally like technically mostly a metal band with
Mhm.
some well with violin and saxophone and
Exactly.
clarinet and etc. But compositionally, it's kind of something more like Ligeti or Xenakis
well,
meets jazz.
I
Like,
mean, it's kind of, I feel like saying Kayo Dot or this album is a metal album because it has guitar or maybe
mm,
heavy guitar distortion. It's kind of like saying like a song that has jazz, not jazz, a song that has saxophone in it is jazz. You know, it's just like because this instrument takes up so much space and has so much like meaning behind it, it
mm.
kind of becomes the default genre.
Yeah, I
Mm.
yeah, I guess so. Like it's also like some instruments lend themselves better to other certain genres as well. Like with guitar, like there is it's difficult to play something piano like on a guitar without having like more than one guitar because of just how it's set up. Like you can't it's you can play every note on a piano at once technically, you can't play every note on a guitar at once.
Uh,
But also it can tremolo pick and you can have distortion and it's normal for guitar and that pushes you into certain compositional directions. And if you have like with Kayo Dot where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna just like make a composition and let's just hope we have enough people on stage to play. Oh, we got double bass now. We got like a there's a whole piano. Like there's like a haunted piano. Then there's the trombone solo, and then there's the saxophone solo, and then there's the violin solo. And but they're not actually solos. They're not really because there's not really any rhythm solo dichotomy here.
yeah.
Um, and it's cool because I don't like the rhythm solo dichotomy that often. Like I often like I don't. It's just kind of got baked into rock and blues, and and I guess
There is
jazz does that
something
as
that
well.
feels artificial when music relies too much on that dichotomy, and when it's more
Mm.
integrated and less separated, it feels more organic. And
Yeah,
I love that about it.
it's like when they're equal, I guess, like an Okakon. Like it's also yeah, like when you hear like a tech death band and like especially the ones which don't have solos because everything's a solo.
Everything's a soul.
Right. Or like they have a rhythm guitar and a solo guitarist, like say Necrophagist, but then the technicality of the rhythm guitar is it's so difficult. It's like you're just as impressed. Like sure, he's Muhammad Shamir is sweep picking, go whoa, whoa, and then there's like the fucking like your hand, your wrist is just getting bigger and bigger from all the like palm muting and shit. Like I don't know, like it's just kind of it does push you in directions having certain instruments um because like unless you add pedals to extend those directions like you can't really drone with a guitar without a pedal or without overdrive um and then you can drone really cool with those but like but it's just kind of like if you're it's why Son was so important is to take away guitar away from its attack away from being a plucked or plecked instrument,
Plucked,
you
yeah.
know,
Mm.
plucked with a plectrum instrument, and more, and they still use plectrums, but it's still kind of like, oh yeah, but there's no attack here. It's just a kind of a big fuzz wall, um, kind of more like a didgeridoo or an organ or something.
Yeah, an
So it's
organ.
yeah, or they have organs a lot as well. I love organs, but like. Yeah, and I think Stephen O'Malley's married to an organist, Kelly Malone. So like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, but like, yeah, they did this kind of like, okay, so this instrument doesn't really do this very well, right? So we've got um like guitars can't like do chords in the same way as pianos because of they just you maxed out by the string by how many chords you can play on guitar, which means really complex ones are much more you can do them on piano easier, unless you get a 9 string guitar and go down that direction,
You can also you can add accordion to any song and ruin it right away, or harmonica.
Yeah.
If you want to ruin
Yeah.
a song in around 1 or 2 seconds, add harmonica.
Accordions sound good droned because like there's a lot of drony accordion like instruments, especially kind of like that are played like keyboards. It's similar to
Yeah.
hurdy-gurdy and stuff like that, where they sound kind of beautiful
Okay.
droned.
Yeah,
It
you
should have
got
been
me.
droned.
There's a
And the
French funeral
harmonica,
doom band Monolith that I think one or two of their albums have some
yeah.
accordion in them, and it doesn't suck. It's used for texture, and it kind of works.
This is just the
Yeah. Before anyone
vehement ska
mentions,
hater in me.
before anyone mentions this instrument,
Okay.
this isn't the end of the sky, maybe. And because it's like out of key, it's like it just sounds cool again. It can
Yeah.
sound a bit zither and koto like, and it's that Zen part. It's actually not a zither. It's actually like a ukulele, and everyone's like, yeah, like ukulele is such a terrible instrument. Never heard it. Like you can't make it sound badass, and I'm like, you're just playing it right. That's the
You
problem.
drop tune that thing?
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what ukuleles are tuned to. I just tune it to the thing I want to tune it to and hope the string stays on single
Yeah.
fret. I've also broken a string on it, but like, and yeah, drop tuning it. It's I don't know. It
Sure.
changes the timbre of it in this way where it doesn't stay in key in this compelling way and sounds different. It doesn't sound like you're on holiday. It sounds like you're kind of like it sounds kind of lonely almost. But it's same with any instrument. I think any instrument can be made interesting and good. Like I've got a tin whistle. I'm gonna try and do some off like noise with. An ocarina made of plastic. I don't know. Like I'm just of the Scott Walker school of like you can just do anything. No one can stop you. Um, like Scott Walker used a meat and just someone punched it for like I think the drift. So like,
I
and it
put kazoo
sounds
on a metal
great.
song just because I could.
Yeah. No, I've had kazoo when I played with Downfall of Hell and Whitehorse when we had a improvised noise night and we had a few sets where the different members would form different projects with a local musician. I was the final one with uh Dave Bland on drums and Pete Hyatt of Whitehorse on noise. I was also in noise and vocals and yeah, and then saxophonist. I can't remember his name. Sorry, dude. Uh, full of hell at playing saxophone, and the guitarist of that again. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. They we had to jam out something. Dave Glenn was in so much acid that night, by the way. And so one of our friends just brought 50 kazoos to the set and gave them out to the audience, and
What?
I got one and I would have to command them to just play the kazoos while we're all shredding and stuff. And it was really there's video up of it. My girlfriend got hit in the head with a kick drum. Like my friend Tom comes out of nowhere. He does a kazoo mic grab, and I give him the mic, and he just does the kazoo straight into the mic. And then he goes to fight Dave Bland, who's on acid. and like um and then like there's broken glass everywhere. I start launching things into the crowd because I had this plan. I was like, with this plan, we're gonna start off like quiet and then build up, and then Dave Bland's on acid, so we have to throw that out. And it was great. It was fun. But yeah, we made kazoos work at noise. We made 50 of them work at noise. And all the audience member got to keep the kazoo. I didn't get to keep mine because it broke.
I think that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah, kazoo danger music. That I think that is probably a first for sure.
That's
It sounds
awesome.
like one of those death whistles. Like it's if you have that many and they're all out of key and it's like surrounding you. We were
Oh, yeah.
louder than the kazoos. We couldn't hear the kazoos unless we all went quiet, which we rarely were. It sounds terrifying. If you just layer 50 of literally anything and play them wrong, yeah, it's fun. It's like you can do that. I bet you can. I'm gonna get a harmonica and prove a point.
I'm imagining
that'd be
a
awesome.
video where there's all the rubber chickens and they press them all down and then they all scream when it lets go. Like 50
Or the
of them.
vuvuzelas that went back in the old
Yeah.
World Cup, like they had
Right,
all
yeah.
the vuvuzelas, and it sounded like a death.
This is the
like,
apocalypse happening. in the
brass. Yeah,
stadium
it's
right now.
just
The
yeah,
horse
it
of
was
the apocalypse.
terrifying.
I have
And
an Aztec death whistle. They're awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was referring to. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
There's, I need to get one. They're so, if it's okay culturally, I don't want to upset people for doing that, but they're
yeah,
so, they sound incredible.
yeah.
Yeah,
They sound awesome.
yeah.
You
Like,
have it close by?
It's
oh
downstairs.
yeah. Ah, do I have
I
my
should have
tunes?
had it.
That's a
I've
fun
got my
idea
tin
though.
whistle.
Yeah, you
Uh,
really should have like thought that we were gonna talk about
yeah,
the
You're
Mayan
talking to
death.
a bow, get at the death whistle, like predictable like that.
that would be fun to do on the Patreon. I haven't like dug around there yet, but I'm sure anyone who's subscribed to it, I mean, if they make music, then they're making something odd. It would be funny to try and have people make harmonica scary, or harmonica work with music, like just industrial something, just process it to make it not remind me so much of ska, which I don't want to hear personally.
Neither.
um,
That sounds
yeah,
like a challenge, and I accept it.
yeah, I
I
like
just
the
need to go down
harmonica
to the,
challenge.
I need to go down to the local music store and get the cheapest
Harmonica
harmonica they
store.
have. Yeah, the kind of like there's a music store around the corner, and they've got, a lot of supplies, like a lot of children's instruments there. And
Just go to any
I'm
pawn
just,
shop.
yeah, I'm just trying to think if the harmonica should, like, I'm gonna probably drone it because I'm not learning how to fucking play it. Like, no. But
Pitch
like,
shift it.
I'm just
Bass
wondering if it should be
harmonica.
melodic or like atonal dissonant harmonica. I just don't know which is, because if I'm gonna do dissonant harmonica, you need more than one harmonica because they're all stuck into a chord.
Just
Yeah.
throw
Um,
auto shift on it.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
like I
that,
kind of want the timbre when you shift it, you change the timbre, which can also be
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that is a possibility because you want the minor seconds, you want those
yeah.
dissonant like cluster
I'm sorry,
chords.
I keep detouring us about Ableton shit. I'm sorry.
I was
But
just thinking, are there like baritone harmonicas or like bass harmonicas, like big like that?
it's huge as fuck.
I'm looking at it right now.
I mean, you'd just be like, you could blow into the pipes of an organ, I guess. You could play it with your mouth.
I'm looking it up. Bass harmonica,
Yeah.
the lowest harmonica in the world. Yeah, they got them.
Awesome.
That's
I
sick.
don't know if they'll have them at the store, but they have bass harmonicas. Yes, they do.
That's
And
Oh, it's top.
hilarious.
there's probably like YouTube
Oh,
videos of some guy playing it like
yeah,
super like awesome on the street.
Bass
yeah.
harmonica with the contact mic right on the top.
I've
There
got
there
it
might
here. I've got the
there
video up, and
there
it's
might be
just called.
something there.
I don't know. I think it might be better. Like contact mics, they make everything sound like a contact mic because they're just
Yeah.
mid-range. They do this,
Hmm.
and that's great for noise before putting it through pedals. But when it comes to like instruments like this, I often just record it like normally or with a field recorder so I can keep the
Yeah.
stereo field, and like then change it after recording it so I can get all the
Yeah.
timbral aspects of it. Because you never know how a contact mic's going to pick up something that isn't a contact instrument with
Yeah.
kinetic energy, but the kinetic energy is more subtle because it's blown air. So I don't know. I could try it. I reckon it would just sound like newt. It would sound like pinger. It would go because of the mid range, all the like, and just picking up a certain part of the harmonica. And then, of course, because it's a contact mic, tradition states you necessarily must put it through a DoD death metal pedal, and it would just sound like feedback, which would be cool.
Yeah.
But like, it you then be like, is that a harmonica or is that just like a distorted synth that sounds a bit like one?
You
Whereas
you
I think
might
the
run into harmonica gatekeepers too. And who knows how, violent they are. I don't know if they're docile or not. I haven't run into one.
if they're docile or what, like
Well,
malignant, like they're kind of like aggressive. The
Yeah,
harmonica
yeah,
harmonica
it's like
seems aggressive.
yeah, it's like a Final Fantasy encounter sort of thing.
It's like walking around in the bush in
Yeah.
Pokemon. Like you just bump into a harmonica player is yelling at you for like you can't do it that way. Like I got this as a kid when I was playing acoustic guitar, but I was put in drop D, and it was like one of those introductory nylon string acoustic guitars, and I'll finish on this where I was playing it like this, and just playing like System of a Down when I was a kid. And then this head of the school department of music walks past, who turned out to be a pedophile. He walked past and goes, "That's not how you play it." And I got so sad until I learned how he was a pedophile.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, well, like at least, I'm not playing with kids. So like,
Yeah.
and that's why you should play instruments wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because pedophiles hate it.
thanks
Yeah.
for having joined us on this podcast about Choirs of the Eye with Xandra from
Actually, about choir.
Uboa. That was really incredible. Thanks. We really got deep
Yeah.
into the lore of Kayo Dot and all of that stuff. It was really cool. I learned a lot, and thanks for making it. Truly, that was incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
A lot
me.
of fun.
I'm glad we learned a lot about that record and discussed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
stones unturned now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm now gonna listen to it and be like, yeah, like yeah, I just like learned so much about me remembering last time I listened to it 2 weeks ago. So like,
Mhm.
So
yeah.
where can we follow you and your music and all that? That's where we plug you, right?
Oh fuck yeah. Okay. I should probably do that. I do it for a living, unfortunately. It's a band camp.
Yeah, I've
On
heard
the
of that.
Flenza website, you can do it on Spotify if you want to pay me 0 point, lots of zeros, 5 cents.
Mhm.
Or there's an Instagram, there's a Patreon, which actually helps me give a consistent wage. And I haven't done it as much because I've been sick and stressed out and had so much personal shit happen. There's going to be the harmonica, and maybe not immediately because I need to get a harmonica, but there's samples and occasional
Yeah.
lessons and unreleased songs and released songs but unpacked, and then there's occasionally a stem. It's not the most professional place, but it's good, and it's also like $5 because I'm not doing tiers. I don't want someone to give me $500 because I'm gonna feel very responsible if they give me $500 a month. I'm like, I'm gonna be your slave now. I don't want that. um
Mhm.
what else happens? It's
You gotta
on
catch the whales.
vinyl stores. You gotta catch that. You gotta what? Okay. You
The
gotta
big
what else? I don't know.
spenders.
Yeah,
I am playing with Chelsea Wolf in a tour. In
awesome.
Fuck
May
yeah.
only for Australia and New Zealand. And then playing a cool big festival. It has not been announced, so I'm not allowed to say it afterwards. And then maybe another one, and then but it's all in Australia. And then maybe I'll come overseas if the world has not exploded. Probably not America, but maybe Europe. Year after, I'll have to see. I'd like to. And working on it, I've got a split coming out. It hasn't been announced, but it's with a local doom metal act.
Fuck yeah.
And it is similar to Possible Light My Side, and the other side is doom metal if you like Carnate,
Awesome.
and Corrupted.
And I think,
And
you know, these festivals, I think you can announce them here because like this video is gonna come out in like 6 months.
oh, okay, yeah. It's just like they tell me not to announce things, but if you're
Okay.
releasing it in a bit, it's Dark Mofo. I'm playing with Divide and Dissolve. If you do
Nice.
release it before it's announced, censor this, just cut it out.
Sure.
Because they told me not to for as part of the contract.
All right.
And the festival after that's Essence, I think. But and yeah, there's a few things coming out this year, splits, EPs, probably Meltdown, which might be out, but which is just my live recording from Live at Roadburn, yay, thing. And it's just a tape, but it's noise if you like that. And then I'm going to die after I do all these things because it's a lot of things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We will miss you.
Yeah.
This was a great conversation about Choirs of the Eye by Kayo Dot.
This was really great. Thank you so much for joining us and being there and being so cool and nerd and all of that.
Yeah.
Instead of cool. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
See you.
Thanks so much.
And
See you
good
later.
luck. Farewell.
It is
Bye.
3 a.m. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sleep tight.